Man, this debate is a trip. I'm liking, oh, they do not like how you say his name? Vivek Ramaswamy up there. Oh, they don't like him. The damn Warhawks. Told y'all about that uniparty.
If they have a level playing field, they can out-compete anyone in the world. But this is part of the larger issue that we're talking about.
Told y'all that there was a uniparty. They want to see Ukraine and all of that shit. They want damn China to invade Taiwan. This is why we need Trump to get back into the White House. Yeah, fuck Mike Pence, he betrayed Trump. I want Vivek Ramaswamy to be Trump's vice president. That shit would be off the chain. I wish Trump would come to these debates. I've been at all these debates. Those shits were hilarious. But I'm liking how Vivek Ramaswamy doing. I'm from South Carolina. Nikki Haley was my governor. She was all right, but she part of that uniparty.
To China and Russia. The whole thing is absurd. And then, of course, we're going to give Ukraine to Russia, and then we're going to give Taiwan to China, and think that's a foreign policy. That will make our nation less successful, make us more poor. And at the core of all that is energy policy, because China imports 10 million barrels of oil a day. They're the largest importer in the world, and we've had 4 cabinet members from the Biden administration there this summer, and none of them talked about U.S. energy. The first one to go to each of those countries was Kerry to talk about the folly of the climate policy, which is making the world less stable. It's empowering dictators. It's not about climate change that we need worried about. It's about climate policies that are actually the existential threat to America's future.
Mexico's president called who supports sending U.S. military into the country, quote, scoundrels. Mexico is the United States' most important trade partner.
We should invade Mexico to get these cartels up out of there.
So, this means boots on the ground, drone strikes. It means special operations. It's how we deal with our terrorists. And what you need to do is understand that Mexico's not being a good partner. If we lost,
we need to launch a full-scale invasion of Mexico. If anybody we need a damn send troops to, it's Mexico. I'll sign back up. Station me, Nuevo Laredo. I remember I went to Nuevo Laredo before. I had a blast that night. God damn.
Trade relations until China stops sending fentanyl, and then we'll do the special operations and we'll get it from both sides. This is where President Trump went wrong. He focused on trade with China. He didn't focus on the fact that they were buying up our farmland. He didn't focus on the fact that they were killing Americans. He didn't focus on the fact that they were stealing $600 billion in intellectual property. He didn't focus on the fact that they put a spy base off our shores in Cuba.
Trump did focus on all that. That's why China sent that C-19 against us. Because Trump was kicking China ass. That's why they sent C-19.
That hasn't happened in a long time. As your president,
fuck it, this video gonna get flagged anyway. China sent COVID-19 because Trump was kicking China ass.
You're all auditioning for the job as president of the United States. You want to earn these votes. But the world's problems lay in the Oval Office. During the presidential debates in the year 2000, neither Al Gore nor George W. Bush was asked about Al-Qaeda. Yet,
fuck Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda's attack on September 11th claimed nearly 3,000 lives.
The Uniparty been back then since Bush was president. Republicans and Democrats voted for Operation Iraqi Freedom.
No executive branch experience.
Better that, boy.
What has prepared you to protect the nation from a major man-made national security crisis?
Over there in 2000.
I've had the good fortune of doing is serving on committees in the United States Senate, like the Senate Armed Services Committee.
Powers that be mismanaged that.
On the Finance Committee.
Should have listened. We ain't had enough. I was 19 at the time. I didn't know what was going on.
Passed it through the banking
I was
committee
like,
and the Senate.
That's one of the sergeants. One of my sergeants, my favorite sergeants. I'm like, why is this war such messed up? What's going on? He's like, dang, you don't have enough troops over here. I'm like, I thought we got like a 100 and something thousand of us, just us, and then another like 100,000 of other coalitions. Like, man, no. There's a storm we had well over 500,000. You can't secure those countries with this little bit. You ain't even lying when you look back at it. That's why Paul Bremer need to be in jail.
Ever happening, having that experience for the last 10
Donald Trump was wrong by this when he said Obama founded ISIS. No, Obama didn't found ISIS. Paul Bremer founded ISIS. He fired the Iraqi army and the Ba'ath Party. If I became president, one of the first people I would have give a medal to was Jay Garner, because after all the statue fell and Iraq fell to the United States, he had things straight. The Ba'ath Party was willing to negotiate with us. The Iraqi army was negotiating with us. But then they swapped him out for this fool Paul Bremer. He fucked shit up.
Reagan brought forward in this party of a strong national defense, standing with
Mike Pence, you betrayed Donald Trump. Fuck you. Go back to Indiana, fix Indiana right ass roads, Mike Pence.
Our party does face a time for choosing, as I said at the top of this debate, whether we're going to stand on the foundation of that.
We ain't choosing you, choosing Trump, motherfucker.
Or whether we're going to follow
MAGA.
of populism unmoored to conservative principles. I'm the most experienced, most qualified, and most...
No, you're not, Mike Pence. You're a betrayer, motherfucker.
American home and abroad on day one.
Time for choosing to go to a break. Ilya. We need to go to a commercial break where Reagan built a
I don't hear shit Mike Pence not got to say. Slick ass. He betrayed Donald Trump. January 6th wasn't even that big of a deal, to be honest. Trump didn't even damn incite a riot. He said protest peacefully. Nobody told her to run in that Capitol. But what it was, that uniparty had bad actors run up in there to cause all of that shit. But hell, I ain't gonna lie, I love America, but shit, America did all kind of January 6th. Shit, I just talked about one, Operation Iraqi Freedom. That was a January 6th. Saddam was no longer a threat to us. We went over there and they found no goddamn weapons. Hell, they ain't creating no damn weapons of mass destruction called IE fucking D's. Fuck that uniparty. That's why I love Trump. He called out both parties, Republicans and Democrats. He said, fuck both y'all motherfuckers.
If you have kids or pets, you know stains and odors in your carpet and upholstery are inevitable. But the experts at Chemtrail...
But regardless, whoever is going to be the president, it can't be Joe Biden. Damn sure can't be Joe Biden, because we hadn't even World War III in 2024, 2025. And our morale is too low to fight a damn war.
Or visit Chemdry.com to connect with your local Chemdry and learn about special offers in your area. That's 1-800-ChemDry or visit Chemdry.com today.
Inventory management and procurement have a new champion. Local teams to handle your stock, plus agreements with national brands. Fastenal can shine a light on the forgotten corners of your supply chain. To fully eliminate your supply chain, you want a partner like Fastenal with local teams.
None is on this.
Fastenal, where the industry meets innovation. Learn more at Fastenal.com/serious.
Claim that's we already. I ain't looking at the phone right now. I gotta go to all the roads. So I can hurry up, get this load delivered so I can go home.
Over 1,000 years. The reason is simple. Gold is real, it's valuable, and it lasts. That's why it's a safe bet for your retirement plans.
I don't know. I don't think Dave. I listen to Dave Ramsey a good bit, and he's skeptical of gold. If I did it, I'm talking like I got some damn money. I ain't got no damn money. Y'all see, I'm a truck driver. I ain't got no damn money. You know, I gotta tell all these motherfuckers begging me for money. Leave me alone. I'm broke. Y'all voted for Joe Biden. I'm broke. You support Joe Biden, you support a Democrat, don't ask me for shit. Ask Joe, wrap your ass up in the Ukraine flag, call yourself President Vladimir Zelensky, and send Joe Biden the cash out. Don't send me shit, unless you're sending me some $40.
The Pharmacy Times National Survey of Pharmacists.
There's a road.
#1 pharmacist recommended every support brand for the 5th year in a row. You can find it in the vitamin.
I hate commercials.
Without a prescription. Help your memory. Try Prevagen today. Prevagen. Healthier brain, better life. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Laura Ingram's tackling the nation's issues from every angle.
What do the voters think?
Don't miss the Ingram Show, weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox News Channel.
Y'all hit that like button. Subscribe. I talk about trucking industry. I roast motherfuckers on YouTube and shit. I talk about life. I talk about a whole bunch of shit. I talk shit. Hit that like button, please. Yeah, it's posted in the description. Feel like I'm worth it? You can hit that cash out. We help a truck drive out this got voted for Joe Biden.
Well, look, I think that we do have to run through the courts and get through that administration to make sure we're using the natural resources here at home. And here's the other thing that we can do. It's easy.
They do not like I just say Mr. Ramaswamy. They do not like him.
We are using
because he's a future Trump. He see the bullshit.
To stay at home than to go to work. That is wrong. That contributes to our supply chain crisis. It contributes to inflation. That's the easiest way to unlock this economy. And here's the other thing. We have to put the Federal Reserve back in its place. This is
be careful, Mr. Ramaswamy. You know, you talk about that Federal Reserve. You might get taxed on a grassy nose.
Who places priority on dollar stability, and then most importantly, send packing 75% of the administrative state. Reduce the federal employee
count by 75%. You can't talk about that Federal Reserve. And you can't talk about that group that wears those little hats.
Businesses, both large and small.
Well, you also can't. Well, you already got them mad earlier. You brought up
That's how we revive the integrity.
When you brought up those gender swappers being having mental illness. Tim Scott, he already got them white Democrats mad when he brought up them causing the fatherhood problems in the black community. He needed give Tommy Sotomayor his shout out for that, because Tommy Sotomayor been pointed that out. What's up, go getter? I can stick and see your comment real quick, but I can't really read the comments like that right now. They're gonna try to come for me. But how you doing tonight?
If I'm president of the United States, we're going to open up federal lands. We're going to unleash American energy.
Then shut your betrayer ass up and go fix Indiana Road. Alright, down. Especially out 65, that motherfucker raggedy since I started driving truck at the end of 06.
Energy producer on Earth. I believe in the next 10 years.
Get the hell up out of Illinois, because I'm pissed with Illinois. They got this fake ass boat. This ain't no real Bojangles they had at that truck stop. They ain't even had no damn bone-eating chicken. What the fuck?
For generations to come.
You know, I told them, I left a negative Google review too. But I told them, y'all are not no real Bojangles. I'm from the South. Real Bojangles have some damn chicken. Boning that motherfucker. The fuck is this about a goddamn tenders? Then the tenders wasn't even that damn good.
Make sure that we have their backs.
The fuck?
What you don't need is a president who is against energy independence.
Nikki Haley, other than I don't even remember Nikki Haley being having an impact as our governor, other than getting the flag come down after the Dylan Roof shit. Now I ain't never even gave a shit about the fucking Confederate flag being up there. Yeah. The flag ain't stopped me from making no damn money.
West Texas for American energy dominance. We're going to choose Midland over Moscow.
Mark Sanford, he had a bigger impact as governor with that fool with AWOL on us to go visit his Argentina mistress. And the bitch been ugly. Shit. You facing losing your job as governorship. You need a military. You about to throw all that away for an ugly bitch. And then after you and your wife divorced, you and that ugly bitch broke up. How the fuck you gonna go AWOL for an ugly bitch, Mark Sanford? And Argentina got 5 bitches down there. You picked the ugly one. The fuck?
West Texas, but we do it. But that was a constitutional. So that's just wrong. And let's just get real here. My plan will get the job done. We are going to be.
Ron DeSantis, I actually like Ron DeSantis, but the establishment is pushing him a little too much, and that means something. That's that uniparty ass shit.
We cannot talk over each other. We must respect each other's time. I'm ready.
Yeah, go get him. That wasn't no real Bojangles. Yeah, the Love's truck stop up here in Illinois. I like, man, y'all need to move this restaurant right back down to the south where it belongs. Had all my hopes up. I want me some damn good old legs and thighs and a breast and maybe even a wing. There's some damn dry ass chicken tenders. They haven't sold bone-in chicken in a year. They ain't gonna lie, talking about Bojangles moving away from that in a few years. Oh, they're not.
I also just want to come back to something Dana asked last segment about 9/11 because I just had 9/11.
Church's Chicken, they all over the country, even that truck stop, and they still have the same bone-in greasy chicken.
I've been a blue collar.
Yeah, but hell, you get like 100 pieces of Church's Chicken for a few dollars. Shit. Bojangles of Church is my favorite too.
And that is not easy to do.
Chicken
I had a lot
spots.
of opportunities to make money, but I wanted to serve. And I'll never forget coming back on the plane from Iraq, landing in Coronado, California, North Island, and feeling that breeze off the Pacific Ocean, saying, you know what? I am lucky to have been born in America, and I think being able to serve.
I agree with that.
The first president elected since 1988 who's actually served overseas in a war. I think that's going to help me as commander-in-chief to know.
We got back from the desert in 2005. Oh my God. Swapped out the desert uniform back into the green BDU. Oh, that was a good feeling. You must wear my broke ass at 20 years old. Like, man, I need it. Man, please send me back.
in Washington, but you're here tonight looking for a promotion. In 2013, Governor Haley hired you for the Senate. I'd like you to tell her why you should be promoted to CEO of the nation instead of her.
Certainly. One of the things I say is
Tim Scott.
national debt, $33 trillion.
The white Democrats trying to say Tim Scott gay
Have this country pass
because he ain't married.
That would constrain the spending in Washington.
But these days, marriage don't work.
In every state in our nation, number one, number two.
Divorce is too incentivized and an attack on masculinity, like Tommy says.
You need to create about 10 million jobs to grow our economy at 5%. You can do that in 3 specific sectors. Number one, the energy sector. We could create between 3 and 3.5 million jobs if we unleashed all of our energy resources. America is the
I'm gonna say it again, like I said earlier.
richest country.
Well, I said it earlier before I went live, but we need to invade Mexico. We can create some jobs there when we invade Mexico.
100,000 factories in the last 25 years. If we continued on our Made in America plan, we could bring jobs back to America in a similar fashion that we did when I wrote the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. We actually lowered the corporate tax from 35% to 21%, reshored or repatriated $1.7 trillion. We brought the unemployment rates for African Americans, Hispanics, and Asians to the lowest level in the history of the country.
Yeah, I'm right.
And a 70-year low for women.
Governor Haley, would you think you would deserve a promotion?
I appreciate Tim. We've known each other a long time, but he's been there 12 years and he hasn't done any of that. He hasn't.
I'm gonna run for governor of South Carolina.
He created the national debt. He voted for the spending. He has made sure that the roads are everything that he's done. He's done everything. 12 years. Where have you been? Where have you
I don't know why Nikki Haley be an asshole all of a sudden. She said more words tonight than she ever did as governor in, what, 6 years?
All these guys have said their thing, and I appreciate a lot of the things they're saying. I'm the only one up here who's gotten in the big fights and has delivered big victories for the people of Florida. And that's what it's all about. You can always talk.
I can't live in Florida though, especially Miami. I cannot live down there. It's way too perfect for me. I act a damn Miami, Florida, and Las Vegas, Nevada. 2 places I can't live in because I'm a cut up. They're too perfect for me.
Republican state, people respond to leadership. I've done it while others have talked about it.
CEO, we actually have a CEO in the White House. I think we need, if I may just briefly interject here, we need a zero-based budgeting. That's the way businesses are actually run. Start with zero as the baseline for the budget, and then see what's actually necessary. There isn't a blue state or a red state in this union that does it. The federal government doesn't do it. But successful companies, including the ones that I've built as a CEO, will do it. And I think we need a CEO in the White House to get that done.
Governor Burgum runs the state. Yes, go ahead.
You didn't ask the only guy that's going to attack. You have energy questions. You don't ask anything. But I'm just going to say right now, when you say nobody else has done it, the energy plans that have all been announced in the last month by these other folks on stage, we're already doing it in North Dakota.
I got the bypass.
So we've got troops down at the border flying helicopter missions from North Dakota, from San Diego to the Gulf Coast, trying to stop transnational criminal organizations from inflicting the invasion and the mass casualties.
That's why we got to invade and occupy Mexico. Fuck Ukraine. Our problem is this damn nonsense going on in Mexico.
We won the battle to get the Biden administration was ignoring the law. They were the first administration since Truman that wasn't holding the quarterly required lease sales, and we won that in federal court. Lotus, we won that in federal court. We're fighting the Biden administration on 20 fronts. To say that nobody's fighting the big fights, just look at the record of what we're doing right now. Energy, economy, national security, have been talking about it since day one, and now finally good, we're having the conversation about it, but we've got the answer in North Dakota.
Governor Burgum, let's talk big government. This one has questions for you. Big government keeps getting bigger. 1/5 of all new jobs this year have been created by the government. Governor Burgum, you say you want to shrink the size of government, but it has been a century since any president has done that. Why would you be any different?
Well, because we've done it in North Dakota. When I took office, we shrunk the state budget general fund by 27% in the first 4 months I was office, and all the trains still running on time. Why? Because you had a business leader that was actually there. Inside of every government job, there's 10 or 20% of mind-numbing, soul-sucking work that even the state and federal employees don't want to do, and you can engineer that work out of the job. That would free up right there 20% of 2 million civilian employees. And by the way, we've got 10 million jobs open. They'd have plenty to do. They could be generating taxes instead of being paid by taxes. This is totally possible to do it if you have somebody that understands. Because having worked in technology for 30 years, everything we had to do was to be better, faster, and cheaper the next day. That's what we can do in government. That's what we're doing in North Dakota.
All right, Governor DeSantis. I want to ask you about something that I think is on a lot of Republicans' minds. This election could come down to less than 50,000 votes in 3 states. Abortion was on the ballot in 6 states in 2022. Republicans lost all of them.
Me, I ain't gonna lie. This is why I'm an independent.
In Arizona.
I'm conflicted on abortion in one hand. It is murder. But in the other hand, we got enough pookies being born as it is. We don't need more pookies and pookies being born. I mean, shit. You gotta look at trash like brown skin lady, Sister T, T.Y. and all them up there born.
Nobody thought was possible because we were.
That's why I'm so conflicted about abortion. It is murder, but we don't need more trash being born.
I think there's other
This is why I'm an
reasons for that.
independent.
The former president, he's missing in action tonight. He's had a lot to say about that. He should be here explaining his comments to try.
Yeah, I still wish Trump didn't go to the debates because they're more entertaining with
I
him.
want him to look into the eyes and tell people who've been fighting this fight for a
My
long
president
time.
will get
I was at
elected.
my
Trump,
wife and I
Donald
on
Trump,
early
MAGA.
Monday, we're at the gravesite of President and Mrs. Reagan, and I noticed that there was a quote where it says, "Every single person has purpose and worth. We're better off when everybody counts." And I think we should stand for what we believe in. I think we should hold the Democrats accountable for their extremism, supporting abortion all the way up until the moment of birth. That is
Some
a
Democrats want to abort you after you've been born.
Governor Christie, do you think that Republicans... Okay, Governor Christie, do you
Fuck
think
Governor Christie. He a betrayer
can do
too.
that in
He
Arizona
betrayed
if
Donald
this
Trump too.
referendum is on the ballot there?
Yeah, because I did it in New Jersey, Dana. You know, it's...
Then why are all these other states losing?
Well, because they don't have leaders in those states who are leading the fight the way it should be led. And in fact, is look, I was governor here of the only blue state that's represented up here. This is where the fight is really tough for Republicans. And those are the states that we're going to have to try to win if we're going to win the White House back. And what we did is 14 times, Dana, in 8 years.
You ain't did
I
shit,
think
Chris.
14
but sit at the beach cause a bridge.
Much the Democrats just kept sending to me, and I kept saying no because I believe in life, but I also believe in states' rights. And I think we fought hard against Roe versus Wade for decades to say that states should make these decisions. So
Roe versus Wade being over. Wow. It wasn't getting rid of abortion, it was sending it back to the states to decide. But of course, the Democrats lied, and you know these goofies, they believe everything a damn Democrat says.
But we need to make sure that for the drug-addicted 16-year-old in the Florida County lockup, her life is precious too. And we need to be providing treatment to cure this as a disease that it is. If you're pro-life, you gotta be pro-life for the entire life. We start talking like that, they're gonna do what I did in the blue state, which was get reelected with 61% of the vote and won 70% of independents and 51% of Latinos because I told them.
Thank you. Vice President Perez.
Liar.
The NBC recent poll found that 73% of Latino voters think the Republican Party doesn't care about or is being hostile toward them. The Hispanic community. Only Governor DeSantis has translated his campaign into Spanish. How will you reach out to Latino voters?
Well, I promise you that we're going to continue.
I ain't translating shit. You in America, you learn America language.
And I've been tax cut and tax reform bill. I worked on Capitol Hill to help get that bill passed into law. Largest tax cut in American history. We saw
Y'all flying on
the
down
lowest unemployment ever
Mexican
recorded.
independence flags a couple of weeks ago in Chicago and all that. Y'all last hours or
So I
what?
think the president of the United States needs to
Why send the cartel up there? Let's see y'all fly them damn flags then.
America. It begins with the unborn and the aged and the infirm. And it begins with every ethnic group in this country. And I promise you, if I'm president of the United States, I'll be a champion. I'll be a champion for the American dream, for Hispanic Americans, and for every American. So help me God.
Senator Scott, quick reaction.
Yes, there's no doubt that if you lead by example, it's the best way to get the job done. If you look at my office in the Senate, my chief of staff is the only Hispanic female chief of staff in the Senate. I hired her because she was the best, highest qualified person.
Yeah, we should hire based on meritocracy.
Our leaders who lead
Not that
example.
diversity,
And I was
equity,
gonna say,
and inclusion
I would
shit.
love to finish my
Or as
conversation
Jason
with
Whitlock
Nikki
calls
as
it,
to the job
DIE.
that needs to get done. Nikki offered a 10% gas tax increase in South Carolina. Talk about someone who has never seen a federal dollar she doesn't like. 10 cents on this gallon in South Carolina. As the UN ambassador, you literally
Bring it.
put $50,000 on curtains in a $15 million subsidized location.
Damn.
Next.
You got bad information. The gas tax in South Carolina multiple times against the establishment.
Just go to YouTube.
Against the establishment.
Just go to
And you
YouTube.
want to know what that takes up was? When they wouldn't pass the gas tax, the establishment, the companies wanted me to do it so much that I said the only way I will pass it if you will give us
All you have to do is go watch Nikki Haley on YouTube.
if you will give me 3 times the deduction in income tax, then I will look at your gas tax.
South Carolina, this is what we do. We brand the drama.
Secondly, on the
This is my state, South Carolina. We gotta have drama everywhere we go.
Obama bought those curtains.
It's in the back.
It's in the back.
It's in the back.
It's the State Department.
It's in the back.
Did you
Leave it to South Carolina residents to bring some damn drama somewhere.
They were there before I even showed up at the residence. If you are scrapping, if you are scrapping, you're stupid. If you know I podcast it.
Here's the fact though.
I got it. I brought it up on
Hey, folks. Leave it to South Carolina to bring some drama.
In fact, we're about to take a commercial break. We'll have more of the second Republican debate live from the Reagan Presidential Library in just a few moments.
A strong work ethic takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help because
See, I want Trump as president. I want Vivek Ramaswamy,
with the
I
right
can't get out of his name, as vice president.
solutions to fit changing demands.
That Tim Scott, he have a position in the administration. I actually like Tim Scott, although he's been a little pro supporting this Ukraine shit, though.
All investing involves risk, so invest wisely. Today's headlines are creating havoc in the economy, but they're creating select opportunities in the stock market.
The stock pickers market, no matter what
Governor
direction the bond market is
North
moving,
Dakota,
I can
he
share
actually
you
got
how I
some
find
sense
winning
too.
stocks. Hi, I'm Charles
Ron
Payne,
DeSantis,
senior
maybe he
TV
should
for years.
run
And now I want to show you my
2028.
strategy to find those specific stocks that can beat the market in good times and bad by
Mike,
giving you a
just
free
take your
copy
ass
of my
back to
newest book,
Indiana and fix some
Unstoppable
damn roads.
Prosperity.
I read the whole book back to Brian. I was very pleased with my results right away.
I can do better than the banks offer. I can do better than the money managers offer.
You really can beat the market.
The returns I'm seeing are amazing. These are the times the greatest fortunes are made.
Get your copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unstoppable Prosperity, a $29.95 value, yours free. Just pay shipping. For your free copy, text FREE to 505-505. That's FREE to 505-505.
Message and data rates may apply. You may have heard the story of Gunther, the world's richest dog. Legend has it that when German Countess Corlana Liebenstein died in 1992, she left her $80 million fortune to her beloved German Shepherd, Gunther III. Since then, Gunther's descendant, Gunther VI, has inherited the money now worth
Gunther VI, come marry me, please. Fuck that shit.
a yacht, and multiple homes.
Oh, hell no, Gunther VI, come marry me. The white Democrats can now swap genders and do all kind of shit. I'll marry Gunther VI.
They will flatten over time.
Yeah, that damn dog got that damn Richard and all of us. Yeah.
In short, this is the finest dog bed you can buy, and you don't have to have Gunther's
I'll
money
sleep.
to one.
I want Gunther's money. I'll sleep in Gunther's bed. You can hit me, dog.
Got that? That's
Cancellation settlement message. On
Yeah,
September 6th,
Gunther,
the
get
government
you.
announced it will
Gunther
continue
the
providing
$6
fast
dog.
guaranteed
Gunther
settlements
the
to
$6
Cancellation
dog.
Marines,
Get you a
families,
big
and
please.
civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000 with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver, or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may qualify for compensation and could be paid within 60 days after accepting your settlement, with your VA benefits fully protected. You may be entitled to a
Us Iraqi freedom vets, we need some damn shit. We deployed in that damn Middle East, Iraq, Kuwait, and all of that.
Get the compensation you deserve.
Qatar and all of that. I was looking for Qatar for 3 weeks mission, but they canceled it when I was up there.
Between
I was so mad.
$550,000. For your free evaluation, call 800-260-3755. That's 800-260-3755. 800-260-3755.
We need to sue the government for the lying when they got us into that damn war.
Devastating. That's why Legacy Box exists, to preserve your family's recorded moments digitally, ensuring they're safe forever. Think of the time and money your family invested to capture family vacations, birthdays, even your wedding. Recording a lifetime of memories was a commitment. Camcorders cost thousands, and cameras required film and development. Legacy Box is the final step to preserve your family's past. Thankfully, it doesn't require another big investment. Legacy Box is safe, simple, and affordable. Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box to convert their analog media to digital. You owe it to your family to safeguard your memories. Become your family's hero and save them before it's too late. For a limited time, Legacy Box is offering an exclusive discount when you go to legacybox.com/world. That's legacybox.com/world.
And welcome back to the final minutes. I could go another hour, but we only have a few minutes. And candidates, it's now obvious that if you all stay in the race, former President Donald Trump wins the nomination.
Damn right.
None of you have indicated that you're dropping out. So, which one of you on stage tonight should be voted off the island? Please use your marker to write your choice on the notepad in front of you. 15 seconds, starting now. Of the people on the stage, who should be? I'm absolutely serious.
I mean, we're here, like, we're happy to debate. I think that that's disrespectful to my fellow competitors.
Nobody wants to participate. me ask you something. If you won't answer that question, let me ask you this one.
Yeah.
What is your mathematical path,
Yes.
Governor DeSantis, in order to try to beat President Trump, who has a commanding and enduring lead in this race?
So
Nobody's gonna beat him.
Presidents, voters elect presidents, and we're going to take the case of the people in these early states. We're
Gonna
gonna
be
do it
Trump
by
who
state
wins.
direction. And why? Because
Mother.
Reagan said in his day, this is our time for choosing. We are not getting a mulligan on the 2024 election. Republicans have lost 3 straight elections in a row. We were supposed to have a red wave with inflation at 9%. It crashed and burned. Not in Florida, it didn't. We delivered it in Florida. And so we've got to choose right. We've got to win. And we need somebody that's going to be able to serve 2 terms. So in January of 2023, they'll be able to address the nation saying, we turned the economy around, we secured the border, and we fended off the threat from communist China. As your president, I will get that job done.
Governor Christie, I believe I did see you write something. Governor Christie, I believe, excuse me, Governor Christie, I believe I did see you write something on the card. Who was that?
No, but I'll certainly tell you.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, I think I've been the only one on this stage who's been clear about this. I vote Donald Trump off the island right now.
Fuck
And
you,
the reason
Governor
I voted him
Christie.
off the island, but
Any of the people on the
because you know
stage
what?
other than-
Every person on this stage has shown the respect for Republican voters to come here to express their views honestly, candidly, and directly, and to take your questions honestly. I have respect for every man and woman on this stage because they've done it. Vivek, put your hand down for a second, would you? I still got time, dude. So chill out. Here, look. This guy has not only divided our party, he's divided families all over this country. He's divided friends all over this country.
Donald
I
Trump
still
called
got
out the
one that no one
bullshit.
else has, who have sat at Thanksgiving dinner or at a birthday party and can't have a conversation anymore if they disagree with Donald Trump. He needs to be voting off the island.
That's a damn lie. You agree with Donald Trump and everybody want to come after you. And then later on when they see that Trump was
I
right,
have a different
they
view
want
on
to
this. I think
apologize.
Trump was an excellent president, but the America First agenda does not belong to one man. It does not belong to Donald Trump. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to you.
Hit that like
People
button.
of this country. And the question is, who's going to unite this country and take the America First agenda to the next level? When we rallied behind the cry to make America great
Vivi,
again,
you and Trump
we
can
did
do
not
it.
just hunger for a single man. We hungered for the unapologetic pursuit of excellence. And yes, I will respect Donald Trump and his legacy because it's the right thing to do.
Amen.
But we will unite this country to take the America First agenda to the next level, and that will take a different generation to do it.
See, they do not like Vivi, but
Does it for the second Republican primary debate live from the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library.
Thank you to all the candidates. It's loved having you here tonight, and we will see you out on the campaign trail. Have a great evening. Thank you for doing it, everyone. Good night.
all these work songs and they don't never be doing shit.
Hi, welcome to Hannity. The second Republican debate is now in the books, and we are live from the spin room at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in beautiful Simi Valley, California. Coming up in just moments, Governor Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, Mike Pence, Senator Tim Scott will join us right here on set. By the way, someone you might not expect to see at a Republican debate, California Governor Gavin Newsom will join us. I got to ask him, I came to the state, first thing I see is
Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis
for
supposed to
gasoline.
debate. I'm gonna watch that. That's gonna be fun.
But they do have In-N-Out Burger. Anyway, first, sparks were flying at tonight's debate as all 7 candidates easily demonstrated the ability to run circles around Joe Biden. We can start with that point. We're going to get Laura Ingram's take in just a minute. But first,
Hit that like button.
in the spin room, Fox News contributor Kellyanne Conway and Fox Business host Larry Kudlow. Good to see you both. All right, headlines you run away with.
Anybody on that stage do a better job than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I think Donald Trump is a little bit of a winner tonight because when his name was invoked, they kept saying he should be here to defend his record. He should be here to debate. He should be here to face the people. Why would you want him there when he's going to eat into your time? And I think eat into some of their sound bites. I thought it was a little flat today. I thought everybody had a good moment, but moments, Sean, will not overtake a front-runner leading by 40 points. Moments will tell the American people what you would do differently.
It's got to be a big moment. We're in the Reagan Library, so we can say this. Remember, there was a lot of questions about Reagan going into the second debate with Mondale, and he turns to him and he goes, I will not allow my opponent's youth and inexperience become an issue in this campaign.
There was nothing like that.
Even Mondale started laughing. It was game over at that point.
There's nothing like that tonight. But look, I think everybody did well enough to make it to the next debate in Miami, which probably is their goal. The question is, what are you doing during the 5 weeks in between the debates? These are important nights, but you gotta get out there and mix it up with the people. And I thought that the moderators were very well prepared.
President I really remember. His first Bush.
Actually answered some of the questions.
That was around when Hurricane Hugo hit us.
And they got it out. They took on China, which is great. There was a little bit more of an economic plan on how to turn around Bidenomics and inflation.
My first memories
Young people can't afford a house.
right before Hurricane Hugo hit, when I was 4 years old.
High mortgage interest rates, 40-year high of inflation. People are suffering every day. I think that there was enough connective tissue from these candidates tonight that they can make a case. I know a little bit more about your struggles than maybe Joe Biden, but I think the polls aren't going to move much.
Yeah, Larry? Yeah, there were a lot of little moments, no big moments. It's hard to get a big moment. Remember Reagan said to Carter, there he goes again.
Well,
I mean,
there he goes.
Oh, God. I mean, for 40 years, that people have been using that line. So it's hard to get a big moment. I agree with Kellyanne. I wanted somebody to say, as per Reagan, like I worked for Reagan a long time ago. I come into the Reagan library. We played all these Reagan clips on my show. I wanted someone to say, as per Reagan, that government is the problem, not the solution.
It sure is.
Yeah, I actually played that clip of Reagan when he said it. The words, 9 words, I believe, in the English language.
I'm here from the government, but I'm here to help you. I also wanted someone to say that we need to get 4 or 5% economic
growth. Hit that like button. Hit that like button.
So
vote for me.
We should be slashing taxes across the board. We should be lowering marginal tax rate the way John F. Kennedy did. The way
what's up? I can't see who's coming.
Donald Trump did.
Obviously, I'm working.
Someone to say that.
What's up, everybody out there?
Hit
that like button.
There are a lot of good points on the economy. They acted more like Republicans this week than they did the last debate.
Vote for Trump.
Did they make the sale on the economy? I'm not entirely sure, but they punched away at it to some extent. I still don't think Bidenomics was buried today on that stage. I just don't think so. I don't think there were direct hits. I was disappointed.
Would you both agree with me? I felt there were a couple of people, and I'm not going to sit here and be insulting and name names. They just really didn't have any business being on that stage. We all know they don't have a chance. And for them, this is their moment. And maybe the criteria needs to be a little tighter going into any future debate.
Well, there's going to come a time, Sean and Larry, where you have to justify being on the debate stage if you're still mired in single digits. If you truly...
I wish Larry Elder was able to get up there. I want to hear more from Larry Elder.
People talk about unity. They say the
I think Donald Trump should put Larry Elder in his administration.
Every single Democrat votes exactly the same way. Inflation Reduction Act.
California's dumbass should have recalled Gavin Newsom and put Larry Elder as governor.
15 ballots, all 213 of them. The point is, we can have unity to try to get together to defeat Joe Biden. It's early in the process, but as time goes on and you're just making the debate stage and yet you're mired in single digits in the early states and nationwide, you have to ask yourself, how much can I sacrifice on behalf of the team to get rid of Joe Biden? We'll see what Gavin Newsom has to say. He'll probably bring a message tonight that's a little bit better than MAGA, Republican, deplorable, irredeemable. But I think if you're a Democrat tonight, you have to be very worried that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are not even being asked what they have to say about the skill.
Let me ask you this.
Can I just make a point?
Joe Biden,
the governor,
he needs to be impeached and removed. We can limp along with Harris until Trump gets back in office.
With Donald Trump's having
Joe has to go. Man, you gonna call LL Cool J a boy?
I don't think there was a breakout. If that's what you're asking. No, I don't think so.
Well, Kellyanne.
You know them Democrats race.
To overcome him in the polls, enough to survive. So I think their best argument is war of attrition, slow and steady, wins the race. But no, nobody there made the case as to what they would do differently or better than he did. They want to build a wall. They want to secure the border. They sounded a lot like him. And look, I give them credit for taking on the big issues, but I don't think that there was enough clarity. And Sean, I said to Larry earlier in the day, I want to come out tonight feeling the way I didn't feel after the first debate, which is each person has a 2 or 3 point prescriptive plan to fix this issue or that issue. And forget what we want to hear. This is what the American people want to hear. And the debate moderators were asking questions on behalf of we, the people, that weren't being answered with
clarity. Tim Scott, I gotta give Tim Scott a lot of credit because he did this riff on blacks, African Americans, somehow surviving through slavery, and then went on to say that the Great Society of LBJ and all the Democratic presidents since then.
Tim Scott got to give Tommy Sotomayor his credit because Tommy Sotomayor brought it up years and years ago.
That was a powerful
damaging. I thought so.
He faced discrimination, but America's not a racist.
I just have to give him credit for that, whether he wins, loses, or draws. That was something to behold.
He's a very
inspiring to say that kind of thing. And the data.
From South Carolina, home of strong Durban. I remember when I was a kid, they used to say strong Durban had whorehouses around it. God damn.
And African Americans in particular in this country in the last 100 years was the Great Society.
And they're leaving the Democratic Party.
Joe Biden,
I mean, it's just
Strom Thurmond, Robert Byrd, and all them.
I thought it was great being on your show.
Joe Biden buddies, though. That's that Joe Biden.
All right, joining us now with more. I see Ron DeSantis is pulling up. He'll be the first guest. Is the host of the hit show, The Ingram Angle, the one and only Laura Ingram. Now, just a moment, if I may. The single most question I'm asked is, how come we don't have the handoffs anymore? How come Laura doesn't, poke at you every night?
I know my football, I left it in the other room. Darn it, I was going to throw it at the screen, but they'll be mad at me here if I break another camera. Sean, number one, I miss you, but you look great. You're doing a fantastic job. But let me tell you, dovetailing into your previous conversation with Kellyanne and Larry, I think after watching this tonight, the debate I before your debate that you're going to of course,
stop all this goddamn rain until I get home.
Is DeSantis and Nikki Haley, because for me at least, tonight, those two emerged as the strongest advocates for their brand of conservatism. Nikki Haley is a lot closer to the GOP establishment, the donor base,
the uniparty,
on issues regarding Ukraine and the immigration system is broken, all that kind of lingo. And then you have DeSantis, who's much more in the populist strain of Donald Trump, and probably the person.
He still got some uniparty in him.
Likely person to pick up the torch after Trump. So a debate between those two, maybe without a moderator, unless it's you, I think would be fascinating to the American people because all those big issues would actually be.
Nikki Haley on your show. I got it.
Well, a little bit. No, but you see what I'm saying? No, but you see what I'm saying about this? That's it. That's the struggle inside the party. The populist part of the party is much bigger. It's 84% of the party versus 26% of the party, or 16% of the party, depending on what polls you look at. So I think that would be interesting. But I agree. I don't think anyone had like a Sacco moment. I know Vivek is coming up. He's a very smart guy. But he seemed to be on the defensive a lot. They were all coming at him tonight. And Burgum, he seems very smart, but he has to move on down the road. Chris Christie and Pence seem like they're mostly motivated by their anger toward Trump and running. And so I think both of them, God bless them, I like both of them, but that's not gone anywhere. So Haley and DeSantis to me
people want to hear.
Now, I think this DeSantis and Nikki Haley, that's the debate we want to see if Donald Trump's not going to be at the stage at least.
Well, I'm going to ask the governor right now, considering you pushed that. Anyway, Laura, we do miss you, but we're happy you're doing great at 7. Thanks so much for staying up and being with us. We appreciate it. All right, on the set now, after another strong debate performance, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. How are you, Governor? Good to see you.
I'll tell you what, I've been in California. We got in Sunday night. We were in Coronado.
Gavin's in the room.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. Yeah. People are buzzing about this debate, what that you're going to do. So I think it's going to be incredible. We're going to tonight. Look, there was a lot of bickering on the stage. And, my thing is like, look, we owe it to the American people to give our vision about how we're going to reverse this country's decline. And I think I was able to do that. I think some of the crosstalk, if I was at home watching that, I would turn the channel when I saw that. So we were able to rise above that and deliver.
Because my fellow South Carolina citizens had to do like we do in South Carolina, bring drama somewhere. Tim Scott and Nikki Haley.
It is interesting.
We South Carolina people got to bring drama everywhere we go.
The governor's going to be very interesting, so I'm looking forward to moderating that. And I think with 90 minutes, just plenty of breathing room, so that will lend itself to more conversation.
You know what?
Politics is that.
The former president didn't come here. Maybe he'd be willing to do one with you and I. I think he owes it to our voters to come and make the case.
You're now challenging. So this is going to be Hannity one-on-one debates.
Let's do it. Let's do it, right?
I'll do anything. I'll ask.
Here's the thing, though. You owe it to the voters to come and make the case. No one's entitled to anything. You can say, oh, some poll months before. No. You got to make the case. You got to owe it to the voters. So I'm going to show up everywhere. I think that's what we were able to do. And, there were some important issues that were discussed tonight. There's also others that I know you and I talked about that weren't discussed. But at the end of the day, I think the thing that was clear for this, there's a lot of talk. A lot of people have good things to say. I'm the guy that's done it. We're sick of the talk. Republicans, they always promise all this. Like, what are the two biggest issues arguably right now? The debt and the border. You and I have been talking about this for as long as we've known each other. Isn't it time we get a leader to come in and bring this stuff into a conclusion and a landing? And I think if we're able to, to do that, we're going to be able to get all this stuff done.
Nobody brought up the point regarding the border, and I thought you had a very strong position of what you would do to close the border.
We need to invade Mexico.
No nonsense. Get this thing closed. It's now become to me more than anything else national security.
Yes.
We are catching people that are on the terror watch list, but we're not vetting.
That's why we need to invade and occupy Mexico.
People are coming from China, Russia,
Mexico,
Iran,
the 51st state.
They're coming across the border. I hope I'm wrong, but if I had to bet my life savings, I would bet that there will be a terrorist attack that happens in the future of this country that's going to be faced to that. These guys in D.C., they don't care. There's no urgency.
Richmond, North of Richmond.
Care, but like the elites in D.C., they don't care. Biden doesn't care. He's missing in action on this.
Right. We don't even have a president right now.
I agree. I mean, I think that this is above all a national security issue. Now, there's also nuts and bolts issues. I mean, the amount of illegals that are pouring in, medical care is being taxed, schools, it's overwhelming communities far away from the border. You see it in New York City.
In New York City, so they're paying up on average $40,000 per illegal immigrant. Okay.
And they're taking out the veterans to make room for illegals.
Oh, hell,
motherfucker. They have the 4-star hotels. They're building all these facilities. They expect to spend $12 billion in the next 18 months. And, they're claiming this came from Governor Abbott. No, 87%.
Some, and I think it's been very good. It's 13%. But here's the problem with this government we have, and I think why people are rightfully so frustrated. They can't tell us how many illegals are coming across the border. They can't tell us how many tanks we left in Afghanistan. They can't tell you all the money in Ukraine. They can't even tell you how cocaine got in the White House. And yet,
Hunter Biden brought that shit. Joe Biden should sniff that shit so he can wake his goofy ass up.
Investigating.
You know Hunter Biden brought that cocaine in there.
Came to the conclusion they'll never get a conclusion. How is that? But in the Menendez case, they actually found the fingerprints of the people that handed the envelopes, so they claim, to
Menendez. They're going to expel his ass from the Senate.
With gold bars there. I guess that's a real testament to Bidenflation.
Listen, I love that he Googled
people. You need to
how much is a kilo of gold worth, right? You can't make this up. Generally speaking, I guess the theme of the night as I watched and listened to you tonight was, okay, these are the tough stances I took in Florida. These are that's my proven track record, and that's what I want to bring to the White House. That's your
I think it's leadership, and I think it's deliverables, because we can have great sloganeering, we can have great debates, but if we're not ultimately going to get this done, then none of it matters. And one of the things I've been thinking about lately, because preparing here, I looked at Reagan's farewell address. So in 2033 in January, what would I say to the American people after serving 2 terms? And that's really the vision of, you're going to be able to get ahead again in this country. We're going to have an economy that works for people. We're going to have our sovereignty restored and borders enforced. We're going to make sure that we have education, not indoctrination. We will be the world's leading superpower. We will fend off the threat from China successfully. We're not going to have crime overrunning every city in America anymore, and we're going to restore the Constitution so that we have a limited government that works beside us and on our behalf, not a weaponized government that comes after us. If we can do that, then we will have restored the shining city on the hill that Reagan talks about, and we'll be able to turn over America to our kids and grandkids better than we found it.
Governor, thanks for coming by. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good to see you. All right, another candidate with a strong performance tonight, GOP outsider Vivek Ramaswamy. Take a look.
Ramaswamy.
One is we do have to seal that southern border. Building the wall is not enough. They're building cartel finance.
That's why we got to invade
underneath
Mexico.
that wall. Semi-trucks can drive through them. We have to use our own military to seal the Swiss cheese of the southern border. But we also have to be honest. There's a demand side problem in this country too. A mental health epidemic. I met a family in Iowa. Two parents, Kathy and Derek. They lost their son Sebastian, 17 years old. He bought Percocet on Snapchat, and then he died. Why did he die? Because it was laced with fentanyl.
That fentanyl is scary as fuck, yeah. I'd rather just smoke crack cocaine to deal with fentanyl. Yeah, damn.
But it's also our job to make sure that 17-year-olds don't turn to Percocet via Snapchat. We have to bring back mental health care in this country.
Hit that like button, hit that like button.
Sir, how are you?
Good to see you, Sean.
You just told me your favorite part of the debate was after the debate when your son came on stage.
It was the last 5 minutes of it. When he came on, I saw him sitting quietly in the front row. He's 3 years old, and that's about as well behaved as I've seen him in a long time. I'm proud of him.
He's at the Reagan Library. Wouldn't expect that less.
Ramaswamy needs to be Trump's vice president.
Every time I hear you, I feel dumber. We can't trust you, Vivek. So you came under some fire tonight. What's your reaction to that? Why?
So, feeling dumber, that's actually the first time I've actually ever heard that, so I'll take that as a first. But Sean, my view tonight was there were a lot of personal insults coming my way. That's okay. These are still good people. I respect the policy disagreements that we had, but I'm not running against any of them. I'm running for this country. And I think part of what you saw is I am the new guy. And I do have to earn the trust of the voters at home. And I understand that. And I respect
that stuck out. That moment struck me.
But I still want Trump president. I want him as vice president.
You know, it's all.
By the way, I'm a talk show host. Every talk show you'll ever meet comes off as a know-it-all. So I can.
But the thing, Sean, is
why do you want? What is it that you really want to tell people that don't know you, that see you and that see you're outspoken? What do you really want to communicate?
I think that having strong convictions and being humble about your actual scope of knowledge, those aren't incompatible. Those go together. And the way I've built my businesses is I've surrounded myself with people who challenge me, the best and brightest, who actually push me to be the best version of myself. And so when I'm commander-in-chief, if I'm successfully elected, I expect there will be several people on that stage who I'll be relying on in the same way. So their attacks don't turn one for Christie. I didn't say all of them.
Damn, sure don't want that food.
We're going to require taking the America First movement to the next level, Sean. But I'm going to do things a little differently on my watch. I'm going to reunite this party, and I'm going to reunite this country. And I do think it's going to take whose best days are still yet ahead in life. To see a country whose best days are still yet ahead too. I truly believe that. So I'm not one of these, it's morning in America people. It's not morning in America right now, but it can be. And I think it's going to take a new...
Yeah, because it's dark tonight right now. It's dark as fuck under Joe Biden.
Yes, but it doesn't have to stay that way.
Listen, and this is the biggest problem. Yeah. Every single thing that we are dealing with that's going wrong, our borders, these are all self-inflicted wounds. Energy prices. You see the price of a gallon of gasoline out here?
Absolutely.
Every problem, our law and order, safety, security, our school system, all fixable.
Right? Yeah, the flip side of that is good news if it's fixable. Right. Drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear, stop paying people more money to stay at home than to go to work, abandon the climate cult that shackles the United States while leaving China untouched, declare economic independence from our enemy, communist China, who we cannot depend for the shoes on our feet, to the phones in our pockets,
and the drugs and the medicines we take,
to the pharmaceutical supply chain, which I of course understand and know well. The same country that's poisoning the illegal supply chain.
Put a tariff on them. Trump made them pay.
I think we got to go further than that. I think the answer is
further.
Well, I think what is further is total decoupling. We have people that will not buy land in this country, will not turn companies into lobbying pawns. We're going to hold them accountable for unleashing hell on the world for the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah.
We can't forget about that one, Sean, is that was catastrophe inflicted on us. And if we don't hold them accountable for that, we can expect worse in the future. Now, I was saying this in the Reagan Library tonight. Yeah. Reagan said this about the Soviet Union.
How cool is that with his jet hanging over your head?
Yeah, my young
I hope it doesn't fall.
No, look, it was a beautiful sight. It is, and it was inspiring to me. What did he say? His foreign policy strategy against the Soviet Union was we win, they lose.
Damn right.
I say to Communist China, we win, they lose. That's how I'm going to lead.
Okay. There was a guy that wasn't on
China.
And he's got a massive
American Chinese food tastes better anyway.
Okay. That's obstacle number one.
Well, look, the way I look at it is I was a little different than everybody else on the stage. The reason Donald Trump's in the lead, let's be honest, is that he was an excellent president.
Damn right.
But I'm an America First conservative, not a Trump First conservative. And I think we have to reunite this country and reach the next generation to take our America First agenda to the next level. So I will honor Donald Trump and his legacy more than anybody else. But
do you find do you believe that these indictments are, first of all, they're all politically motivated?
And I will pardon him on day one. I said that in the last debate. I stand by it. And one of the things I noticed tonight is that I think
if he asked you to be vice president, what would you say?
I would ask him to be my most important mentor and advisor in the first year when I'm in office.
Okay.
Because that's what allows me to
If you don't make it for some reason.
So, Sean, you
don't want to answer that question.
No, this isn't about me and it's not about Trump.
I'm just asking.
This is bigger than us. Right? And so my belief is I will be best positioned to reunite this country as our next commander-in-chief. But I am humble enough to surround myself with the very best. And Trump is absolutely on that list.
I thought that if I had to say what I thought your best moment was is when you were just open. You know, I may come on and say, no, this and that. I have to introduce myself. I have to prove myself. I thought that was a good moment for you.
I appreciate you being honest and candor.
All right, we appreciate it as always. Thank you. All right, now coming up, more live reaction from the spin room when we come back. Nikki Haley, former Vice President Mike Pence, Senator Tim Scott, and we're in California. One great thing about California, In-N-Out Burger. One horrible thing I can tell you.
Many times I've been to California and Arizona, I never had In-N-Out. What I think I ever had In-N-Out burger. I really don't like burgers like that. I'm more of a wing, steak, seafood type of guy. Chicken. Ohio River, getting out the fuck out of the Midwest, back in the South. Ahead, Kentucky. Love my damn South now.
Strong work ethic takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help because in good times or bad, we understand how critical it is to manage your business for today with the right workforce. We offer hiring solutions to fit changing demands. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
Back to the South. Welcome to Kentucky. I don't know how the hell they got a Democrat governor.
Havoc in the economy, but they're creating select opportunities in the stock market. We're in a stock picker's market.
I still can't figure out what the fuck the Commonwealth is.
I can show you how I find winning stocks. Hi, I'm Charles Bain.
Commonwealth got last out of here with it.
And I'm going to show you my strategy to find the specific stocks that can beat the market in good times and bad.
The only wealth I want is that's common.
Unstoppable prosperity.
Is everybody to have at least a 7-figure net worth. That's the kind of wealth of common I want.
Than the money managers offer. You really can't beat market. The returns I'm seeing are amazing.
Although that would lead to inflation, but that'll be good inflation.
Get your copy of Charles Bain's
if you have a Democrat in, hell damn, take all 7 figures of your net worth.
Just pay shipping for your free copy.
Black people, black people, we supposed to vote Democrats. Democrats give us good butter biscuits. Use a coon if you vote Democrat.
Wow.
Fuck a damn Democrat.
Wrong. The new inflation numbers just came in, and inflation is back up. Call Goldco today to protect your retirement savings now from rising inflation.
Right now, we're offering up to $10,000 in free silver when you open a qualified gold IRA account while supplies last. Call 855-817-GOLD. That's 855-817-GOLD.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid.
Fuck the IRS.
And they try to frighten you into calling.
You can leave them alone before they tax my ass. They already got 87,000 IRS agents to come get me.
Whether it's 5,000, 50,000, or 500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are. Call now. 800-575.
Let Ted Cruz at. He was supposed to get. He said he would have got rid of the IRS. Go back, Ted Cruz. Fuck the IRS.
If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS.
Hit that like button. Hit that like button.
By visiting us online.
Yeah, hit that cash app. It's posted in the description.
575-1758. That's 800-575.
I need $40.
58. Tax relief advocates. Real solutions.
Them Joe Biden voters, they be begging me for some money. So y'all hit that cash app so I can give them Joe Biden voters money with their socialism ass.
Online trackers. Secure your devices from malware-infected downloads and block access to malicious websites. With NordVPN, enjoy internet without trackers, without malicious websites, without malware-ridden files. Be more cyber zen. Take advantage of our special offer now at NordVPN.com.
Paris Faulkner puts America's news in focus.
We begin here demanding answers.
Don't miss the Faulkner Focus. Weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fox News Channel.
All right, we're live. We're in the spin room at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. Joining us now, former ambassador, former governor of the great state of South Carolina, Nikki Haley is with us. Governor, good to see you. How are you? You prefer governor, right? I don't always get that.
It's Nikki. Those are my
Nikki, you're very nice to say that. It's an interesting moment. I just asked Vivek about the moment you had with him. Every time I hear you, I
Henry
feel
McMaster,
dumber.
better governor than Nikki Haley.
Wow, that was a pretty powerful shot. Why?
Because you look at the fact that he was in business with a Chinese company to make Chinese medicines, not with an American company to make American medicines, a Chinese company to make Chinese medicines. Then you go and you look at the family he was doing business with, and he turns around and is in business with the family that gave Hunter Biden $5 million. And then he wants to suddenly go and promote TikTok. I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
I agree with you on TikTok. I don't trust it either.
No, but everything, all of this was Chinese Communist Party related. So how do we trust it? And then he suddenly decides not to be in business.
Hell, all
the
these,
second
to be
before
honest,
he
all
decides
these
to run for
apps
president.
in bed
It
with
smells
China.
bad.
Not
I
just
don't
TikTok.
appreciate it. Look, we've got a country to save. I don't trust
YouTube in bed with China. Facebook in bed with China.
Say the border's closed, the border's secure. Our eyes do not deceive us. But
hit that like button.
But I trust the American.
And how does China get away with, let's see, a spy balloon flying all across the continental U.S. over a military installation? Why do we let them buy thousands and thousands of acres of farmland and ranchland? Why are they confronting our Air Force in international airways and our Navy in international waterways, and there are no consequences? Why?
I mean, look, this was the whole issue that I have with President Trump. He was great on trade. He never held them accountable for COVID. He never did anything about the fentanyl coming across. He didn't stop them buying our land. There was a Chinese spy base in Cuba. He didn't do anything about that. This is our number one national security threat.
He did get, for the first time that I think I know of in history, he certainly had them pay their fair share when it came to trade.
He did trade,
unfair trade
but he didn't do national security, and our farmers are paying for it, and we're seeing it with all the intrusion that we're seeing in America. That should have been stopped years ago, and he didn't do it.
Right,
and on top of that, he congratulated the Chinese Communist Party on their 70th anniversary. You can't be nice to people like that. These guys want to destroy America. They are planning war with America. We have to start being strong and tough with them and let them know they can't kill Americans anymore.
That uniparty shit. Told y'all we going to World War III.
We appreciate you being with us. Great job tonight. I hope you had fun.
Thanks. It's always
fun. Place to have a debate. I'll say that.
And Fox is stupid for firing Tucker Carlson.
All right, Governor. Thank you.
you. We appreciate it. All right. Earlier tonight, Vice President Mike Pence, he slammed Biden's disastrous economy. Let's take a look at this moment.
I was governor of the state of Indiana.
And you didn't fix the roads, Mike Pence. You traitor.
I know something about manufacturing.
No, you don't.
And I got to tell you, while the union bosses are talking about class...
Mike Pence, you betrayed Donald Trump. Fuck you.
I have to tell you, I really believe
hit that like button.
Bidenomics has failed. Wages are not keeping up with inflation. Auto workers and all American workers are feeling it. Families are struggling in this economy. And Joe Biden's Green New Deal agenda is good for Beijing and bad for Detroit. We ought to repeal the Green New Deal, get rid of the mandates and subsidies that are driving American gasoline automotive manufacturing into the graveyard.
All right, former Vice President Mike Pence joins us. Mr. Vice President, good to see you, sir.
See you, Sean.
Okay, one of the things that I thought you did tonight, it certainly resonated, is the issue of policies that we know work. Right. So much of what Americans are experiencing, so much of it, unfortunately, is due to the fact that we have open borders. We unilaterally disarmed on the issue of energy independence and energy dominance. We have a president with a very pathetically weak foreign policy. These are scary times. This is a country in decline, as far as I see.
It's all the more reason why we ought to go with what we know has always made America strong and prosperous and free. We're here at the Reagan Library, and you and I both love Ronald Reagan.
Absolutely.
Ronald Reagan came to power when there was a failed Democrat administration. Inflation through the roof. Gasoline
As bad as Jimmy Carter was, he's still a better president than Joe Biden.
Ronald Reagan stepped forward and actually said that we could make America great again. And a couple decades said those words. He said those words, and then a couple decades later, another man came down an escalator, made the very same promise, and Donald Trump and I governed as conservatives on the very same record.
And you betrayed Donald Trump.
America at home and strong leadership in the world, limited federal government, pro-growth, the right to life, traditional values. But what I tried to insert in that lively debate tonight was that I think Republicans are facing a time for choosing, that we have to say whether or not
we ain't choosing you, Mike Pence. You're a betrayer.
That has defined our movement since the days of Reagan and through the Trump Pence years, or whether we're going to follow the siren song of populism on more conservative principles, and that means walking away from American leadership in the world. Frankly, the former president's actually advocating, Sean, a 10% tariff on all imported goods into the United States. The Tax Foundation said that would cost 500,000 jobs. So higher taxes, walking away from leadership in the world, and of course, marginalizing.
It's America first.
As many on that stage are sought to do. People need to know that I'm the most consistent, the most tested, the most proven conservative. And
go fix our 65 in Indiana, Mike Pence, and get off of here.
Foundation.
Do you believe?
Hell, go fix Gary, Indiana, Mike Pence.
You know,
no ass off here.
I have an
go fix Indianapolis, Mike Pence.
I donate ultrasound machines. They use science of ultrasound, convincing women that, hey, there's something magical growing inside them, and they find more women choosing life than ever before. However, the Dobbs decision was 15 weeks, and where I think politically this issue is, because I believe it played a big role in what happened with Mastriano and what happened to frankly, the whole ticket in Pennsylvania. No exceptions, rape, incest, mother's life. He lost by a bigger margin to a non-incumbent gubernatorial candidate since the 1940s. I think that played a part. Am I wrong?
Well, I don't think you're entirely, it wasn't that it wasn't a factor. I just don't think it was the dominating factor. When I looked at the midterm election, Sean, I saw that candidates that were focused on the future, focused on the challenges that every American family is facing under the failed administration of Joe Biden, our candidates did well. But largely where candidates were focused on the past, particularly relitigating the past, they did not fare as well. But look, at the end of the day, I so admire your pro-life stand over so many years. Millions of Americans Democrats who prayed and supported leaders and championed the pro-life cause brought us to this moment. But the Dobbs decision didn't just return the question of abortion to the states, and it was a real difference on that stage tonight. I don't think we quite got as much opportunity to break it down, but the truth is that whether it's the former president or Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley, they believe that this should just be relegated to the states. I'm pro-life. I don't apologize for it. And I believe that the Dobbs decision returned the question of abortion to the states and the American people. The American people elect presidents. They elect Congresses. I think the time has come for a minimum national standard.
Shut up, you traitor. Hit that like button.
The country to go as far as we can to protect the unborn. But I don't want to leave kids, unborn children in California and Illinois and New York to the devices of liberal governors who will support late-term abortion.
Ever get between a patient and in any way, that means no exceptions up to the moment of birth, or in the case of that lunatic Norfolk, first will deliver the baby.
The Democrats are the radical
big time
position on
Democrats
this. Taxpayer funding of abortion all the way up to the moment of birth. That's why if I'm president of the United States, I'm going to take the case for life with compassion and principle to the American people. 70% of Americans would support a minimum national standard that said when a child can experience pain in the womb, we ban abortions after that.
Mr. Vice President, good to see you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it. Good to be with you.
All right, coming up, Senator Tim Scott, and he's the governor of the great state of California, Gavin Newsom, on set right here with us as we continue.
Change happens fast, and when it does, your small business needs to be ready. With Capitus as a trusted financing partner, you can be ready for anything that comes your way. A sudden bump in customer demand, the need for quick cash to fund unexpected opportunities, or keeping the lights on when there's a sudden downturn in the economy. A simple 5-minute online application with Capitus could put the funds you need in your hands in as little as 24 hours. Go to Capitus.com to explore your financing options. That's Capitus.com.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides 24/7 compassionate support and connection to trained counselors. When you call, text, or chat 988, directly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You're not alone. For 24/7 support, just call, text, or chat 988. Message and data rates may apply.
A healthy weight, more energy, and smooth, regular bowel movements. 3 things everyone strives for.
It's me, Chuck Norris. There's one really important thing we don't talk about enough. Our health. Achy joints, digestive issues, weight gain, and fatigue. We're told these are normal signs of aging. So working with the human health experts, we came up with Morning Kick.
Morning Kick is a revolutionary formula combining 10 different supplements in one. Probiotics that help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and several of the most powerful anti-aging supplements on earth. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, focused, and help manage stress.
Anybody can achieve great health regardless of their age.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com. Use code STRONG or text STRONG to 511-511 and claim 40% off today.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee.
Text STRONG to 511-511. Morning Kick. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Next fees may apply.
Let's face it, talking about life insurance is never easy. But after we watched a close friend lose her husband with no insurance, we decided that wasn't going to happen to our family.
Yeah, but shopping for life insurance can be almost as difficult as talking about it.
But then we heard about Ethos Life Insurance. They're a new kind of life insurance, built for people on a busy schedule who don't have time for unnecessary doctor's visits, fine print, or hidden fees. Who want to keep it simple.
I couldn't believe how easy it was. We answered a few basic questions, and within minutes, we had an estimate of what it would cost and what sort of policy made sense for us.
I never imagined life insurance could be so affordable.
And accessible.
The peace of mind knowing that our future is secure, it just removes a lot of the fear around getting older.
Yeah, the unexpected.
I'm glad we talked about it.
I'm glad we went with ethoslife.com.
Go to startethos.com now for your free estimate. That's startethos.com. Startethos.com. Attention investors, are you sick and tired of riding the ups and downs of the stock market? Your portfolio should be providing you and your family with passive, predictable returns every month, and I can show you how. My name's Grant Cardone, and I founded Cardone Capital to give the everyday investor access to real estate assets typically reserved for the ultra-wealthy and ultra-connected. Over the last 30 years, I've bought and sold billions of dollars of real estate. We only purchase Class A, stabilized, cash-flowing assets in the best markets in the country, and that's cash flow from day one of ownership. Don't be fooled by offers of high returns by speculative development funds that always get punished in recessions. Protect your money.
Hit that like button. Vote for me.
Monthly distributions and the tax benefits of an owner. Visit CardoneCapital.com. Go to CardoneCapital.com. That's CardoneCapital.com to learn more about our latest deal. That's CardoneCapital.com. Go there today to get informed about our latest deal.
Individual results may vary. There's no guarantee that past performance will be indicative of future results. Invest wisely. See full disclosure at CardoneCapital.com.
All right, welcome back to Hannity. We are live. We're in beautiful Simi Valley, California at the Reagan Library. Joining us now, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott. Senator, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. You had a lot of interesting moments.
California is very beautiful, but the white Democrats destroyed it.
Up saying, excuse me, you said we're bought and paid for. You said at another point what I thought was a from-the-heart, passionate monologue almost, you know, America is not a racist nation. That's talked about your background. And then the other thing about
Tim Scott, my
it's
senator.
maybe not as popular with conservatives right now. You made a strong, powerful defense about the need to degrade Russia's military. Take any one of those.
Tim Scott, I gotta get on you about that Russia shit.
We live in the greatest country on earth, but we don't celebrate it. We have people who say that America is in decline. Actually, we are in the middle of a Joe Biden retreat. We've seen this move.
Wasn't it a Joe Biden decline? Is it?
Joe Biden is the cause in America to
The
decline.
difference between a decline.
Fuck Joe Biden.
In devastated neighborhoods that felt like a decline. The 20% of Americans who are living in the most devastated areas of our country need to understand that this is just a retreat. You can turn it around with the next leader of this country. By doing so, you restore hope, you create opportunities, and frankly, you stop the devastation in these big liberal cities that are marching towards socialism in the same fashion as a great society.
Do you think that it's so divided?
Fuck
Is
the
that
Great
why
Society.
Governor Newsom on? A lot of people leave
Great
California.
Society
You see the gas prices
destroyed the black
Oh,
community.
No, they're 7.
Racist Democrats.
Crazy. Okay. And so you have a migration out of New York, California, New Jersey, Illinois. They're going to your state,
Yes.
North Carolina.
Hell yeah, they coming down here to South Carolina. God dang.
And why are they doing that?
Because the red states have proven that America is still the land of opportunity. We prove that free markets and capitalism works effectively. What we need in these big blue cities. Think about Chicago as a classic example. $30,000 per student for education, and yet the vast majority of minority kids are below grade level.
Damn.
Did you see the 13 high schools in Baltimore?
Zero
Proficiency.
You talk about
Them Democrats got Baltimore fucked up.
the
God dang.
disgusting form of discrimination. It's brought to us by the teachers' unions who are standing in the doorhouse of schools today saying to poor kids, you're trapped in, you're never getting out. And what does that lead to? It leads to hopelessness, it leads to high unemployment, and crime. We've lost control of these cities because the liberals, with their supermajority, have done nothing.
You said, and you talked about your background. You did a good job in your book about this, but you talked about America not being a racist nation. There are racists in this country.
Absolutely.
And they're evil. To me, that's evil.
Yes.
I believe we're all children of God. That's my firm belief.
I agree with you.
Not a doubt in my mind.
Yep.
Okay. So how is it that you have historically minorities in the largest numbers voting for Democrats? Okay, how are they doing with your school system, and how do they treat you when
Because it's been beating the black folks to vote for Democrats. It's like math.
So you can pursue
Beating the slaves to be slaves.
We need to go where we're not invited.
Democrats are slave masters.
Cities like Chicago, Detroit, Indianapolis, Los Angeles, and do one thing. What we do is we sell the GOP. We sell the principles that undergird success in human listen, we need a free market system that actually says there's room at the top for anybody who works hard, gets a good education, and has some friends.
By the way, behind the scenes secret, your pastor, who I know well, says you're not a preacher. He goes, you're a much better politician.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. All right, coming up, California Governor Gavin Newsom live
that goofy
on
is
set.
destroying California.
Straight ahead.
More people say, I've been to California so many times, and I see it for myself. Yeah, I just went to San Francisco a few weeks ago, and the damn Democrats destroyed San Francisco.
Or lose yourself in the electronic ambiance of tranquil. Explore these channels and more across Sirius XM and in the Sirius XM app. Just search Relax.
All investing involves risk, so invest wisely. Today's headlines are creating havoc in the economy, but they're creating select opportunities in the stock market.
We're in a stock picker's market. No matter what direction the broad market is moving, I can show you how I find winning stocks. Hi, I'm Charles Bang. You've seen me on TV for years. And now I want to show you my strategy to find those specific stocks that can beat the market in good times and bad by giving you a free copy of my newest book, Unstoppable Prosperity.
I read the whole book back to front. I was very pleased with my results right away.
I can do better than the banks offer. I can do better than the money managers offer.
You really can beat the market.
The returns I am seeing are amazing me.
These are the times the greatest fortunes are made.
Get your copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unstoppable Prosperity. A $29.95 value, yours free. Just pay shipping. For your free copy, text FREE to 505-505. That's FREE to 505-505.
Message and data rates may apply. Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month. And that is huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and PPO networks. So yeah, really, you can save a ton. Like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 855-40-BIBLE. That's 855-40-BIBLE. 855-40-BIBLE. Individual rates, coverage, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. Hey, small business owner, when's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But some don't check their rate often. Did you know rates can vary? In fact, taking 3 minutes to check your rate with Pi Insurance could save you up to 30%. Just go to SaveOnPi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for you with no hassle or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could save you money. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at SaveOnPi.com. That's SaveOnPIE.com.
FleetPride.com is the first click in heavy duty. Introducing a new FleetPride e-commerce solution from the nation's largest distributor of truck and trailer parts in the independent heavy duty aftermarket. We invite you to visit FleetPride.com where you can register for your free account and shop from over 1 million parts 24/7. Search millions of cross-references, pay invoices, get real-time access to heavy duty experts, and much more. FleetPride.com is the first click in heavy duty and the last online ordering tool you'll ever need. Visit FleetPride.com today.
Fox Nation has unearthed conversations between Jeffrey Dahmer and his father. They have never been made public until now. My Son Jeffrey, the Dahmer Family Tapes, streaming now only on Fox Nation.
Jeffrey Dahmer, old rainbow dealing with baby ass.
We are live from the spin room. We are at the Reagan Library, beautiful Simi Valley, California, and the governor of this great state, Gavin Newsom, is with us. How are you, Governor?
Good to be back with you, Sean.
Fuck Gavin Newsom.
tour with all your liberal sycophants. You come back to reality, and you love doing my show better. You just told me off air. I love doing your show the most.
I mean, it's unbelievable that you can publicly say something. That's amazing. By the way, favorite nation status for me, the Reagan Library and a Republican debate. Where else would I want to be?
Wow.
This is it. This home court.
Okay.
Home court.
So now I'm going to ask you. So, honest question. So you see the atmosphere, you feel the electricity, you feel the room.
Oh, I know where you're going.
You know where I'm going?
I know where you're going.
Okay, and you
just finished the presidential debate.
Are you
Here you are promoting a presidential candidate?
I want to know, because I know the truth. In your heart, in your mind, you want this. But you've basically gone on a media tour sucking up to Joe Biden, and you know he's a cognitive mess. You know it.
I also know he's got an extraordinary record.
Oh, yeah.
No, you don't.
I couldn't be more proud. By the way,
how's this record on the border?
Objectively, he was a winner tonight. No doubt.
Objectively?
Yeah, no. That's not spin. These guys identified problems. And Biden actually has not only identified solutions, he's gotten bipartisan deals to begin the process of
No, he didn't.
To that camera right there. And you tell the people watching.
Yeah.
Do you think this border is secure? Because they keep telling us it's closed and secure. Do you believe the southern border is secure?
Why?
Do you believe with all the fentanyl deaths and opioid deaths, is this border secure?
I believe Ronald Reagan was right in 1986 when he supported comprehensive immigration.
Yeah, well, he also said it was the worst decision he ever made.
Yeah, but I believe that he did the right thing for the right reasons because he recognized it's not just a border issue.
It said the
entire system needs to be reformed. We haven't reformed since 86.
You're not answering
we
my
need to
question.
reform the asylum system.
I want to know.
I believe in strong borders.
You just said Joe's successful.
I think Joe Biden has been unbelievably successful.
Joe Biden is trash.
We all agree we have a border challenge. We all agree we need to reform the asylum system. We agree in strong borders.
So he's not successful in securing the border.
I think the Republican Party is complicit in this as well. You cannot do things. I mean, it's just factual.
The border was secure under Donald Trump.
It's wildly overstated, but I get your fundamental point. Clearly, the challenges are more acute today. And by the way, I don't need to be educated on this. I have the largest land port in the Western Hemisphere here in the state of California.
But you're a sanctuary state.
And it's the largest economy where it had 7.8% GDP growth in 2021.
But people leaving California at a record pace.
For housing, food, clothing, education, healthcare. Who pays for that?
We had $177.7 billion operating surplus over 2 fiscal years, and I just did an $18.5 billion tax rebate, the largest in American history, as we expanded universal health care, and we're providing more services, including, by the way, health insurance, which Ron DeSantis apparently wasn't even aware of the question.
You say that in the debate with Ron. Here's the next thing. So I come into your state.
Yes.
First thing I'd love to do is bring money to your economy.
I appreciate it.
I go straight to In-N-Out Burger. That is one of the greatest things of your state. Including the weather, including the terrain is phenomenal.
You can keep going, but yes.
It's all phenomenal. However,
that's the only good thing about California. Well, Southern California, the weather.
Oh, you're right.
Excuse me.
Gouging us. Oil companies screwing us.
$4 a gallon in every other state.
Yeah.
$7
Which is still too high.
Why is your state $2?
As of today, I monitor this very closely. I just did a special session. We became the first state in the country to do price gouging legislation with a new monitor just went into effect. These oil companies are ripping us off. $2 only ripping off California. $2.06. This mystery surcharge that they've been advancing over years and years.
But the average around the country is $4, and I saw anywhere between $6.50 and $7.
$2.06 higher. You're absolutely right.
No, your state is much more than every other state.
Exactly. $2 higher because they're screwing us. There's no justification.
Not regulation, taxation.
Yes, 85 cents. 85 cents low carbon fuel standard.
How much does California get per gallon for gasoline tax?
When you add the gas tax, you add cap and trade, and you add the low carbon fuel standards, and then periodically add, and I'm being as transparent as I can be, and you add our unique blend, you get a differential around 85 cents.
That you can justify, not $2.06. That's where the oil companies
should be $1 more a gallon.
You want to trust the oil companies? I can assure you, these guys don't have your back or the American.
Let me tell you something. When Donald Trump was president, gasoline prices nationwide never averaged $3 a gallon.
We never once averaged. We didn't have Saudi pulling back another 1 million barrels. We didn't have OPEC Plus screwing us. We didn't have a war in Ukraine. We didn't have. We weren't going through. No, we were also going through this COVID supply chain reality, and so there was a lot of competing factors that led to some of this. By the way,
but he also adopted. He made the country energy independent.
By the way, we're more 75 years. We are more energy dependent today. Look that up. It's a fact. And if you never else. No, it's just factually untrue.
Joe Biden was unilaterally decided.
I want to encourage the people watching. Look this up. 5.94 quads. Google 9.5.
Look at all the restrictions Joe Biden has put on
more
oil and gas companies.
Independent today under Biden. Pence doesn't know that. Your audience doesn't know that. More domestic oil production than any time in history. We're on pace this year. That's a fact. You guys keep making that up.
No, we don't make it up.
You're making it up.
We're energy independent, and now we're not energy independent.
You're a clown. You should have been recalled. Larry Elder should have been the governor.
When this gets
and war. Go there. Look at all the other restrictions.
That's what all racism Democrats in California were. They didn't want a black man to be their governor. The white Democrats in California were racist.
I was for PolitiFact. I was going to be some fun.
PolitiFact. Why don't you go to the great?
I want you to
go to the Washington Post fact checker.
Needs to be fact Pinocchios coming your way.
You get 4 Pinocchios your way. All right. So I come into your state. Yes. I love In-N-Out Burger. High price of gasoline. Of course, not your fault. Although you admit 85 cents of it is. Here's the other thing. So I have a guy driving me, loves California, hates your taxes. Okay. And this is what we see. He points out to me a bridge being built.
Yes, sir.
For the people at home, imagine this. They're building the bridge for mountain lions. It cost $100 million. Some of it private money, some of it government money.
A lot of private money.
Some of it government money. So you're building bridges for mountain lions and rattlesnakes.
Among other things, a wildlife crossing.
A wildlife crossing.
We've seen so many accidents. We want to protect people's health and safety, impacting the economy and insurance and traffic in the region because of wildlife crossings. And we want to address a vision for this state as it relates to setting aside 30%
Hit that like button. Hit that like button. We got to stop Democrats at all costs.
The majority of that comes from the Wallenberg Foundation, private sector, and it's inspired a generation of kids. And we want to inspire other like-minded wildlife policies across the country.
So you got this debate with Governor Ron DeSantis. Yes. Are excited about it?
More so tonight. He lied about fracking. Nikki Haley laid him out. He lied about fracking. He lied to the American people tonight. He did an executive order.
By the way, there's only going to be 2 of you and
Keshawn,
you guys, you don't like him. I know.
I just don't like. Well, I don't like people that demonize other people or go after vulnerable communities. But I also don't like liars. Nikki Haley.
You are a liar.
He signed a 2019 executive order. I'm a governor. I know what executive order is. Why would you sign an executive order saying you will not do offshore oil rigs in your backyard and then blame Biden for not doing more across the country?
I have an exit
hypocrisy is remarkable, and Haley
save that for the debate. Here's my exit question.
Happened tonight.
Under any circumstances at all, yes or no, will you ever accept the Democratic nomination to run for president in 2024? Under any circumstances.
This sleazy ass gonna do it.
Yes or no?
I'm looking forward. I was just in Chicago with the DNC.
I don't need the long answer. I want the yes or no answer.
To President Biden's inauguration.
Will you accept this under any circumstances?
It's a hypothetical.
Yes or no?
No, under any circumstances. It's ridiculous. Joe Biden's our president.
You ridiculous.
Joe Biden.
I'm going to make it for In-N-Out Burger.
Joe Biden won the debate tonight, and you're right about In-N-Out Burger, and that's a great way to end. You are
In-N-Out Burger. All right, but the last thing is all those stupid interviews you did. It made you prefer to do my show.
Well, I mean, I love talking about gas prices and wildlife costs.
That's all the time we have left. Thank you, Governor. We'll continue.
And thank you, Sean. Good evening. I'm Trace Gallagher, and this is America's Late News, Fox News at Night. And welcome to the Reagan Library. We are live from what they call the Spin Room. at the library here in Simi Valley, California. It was the second Republican debate now in the books, and it was a debate for the ages. We're going to talk about the winners, the losers. We're going to have the analysis, and we'll talk about maybe who continues on their quest to become the president, and maybe who drops out of this. We're going to get into all of that, but we begin with Grady Trimble. He's live here at the Reagan Library with the highlights on this. Grady, good evening.
Good evening, Trace. They covered a lot of ground tonight, from crime, education, the border, and of course, the economy. But there were some fiery moments as well. And some of the most pointed attacks of the evening were aimed at someone who wasn't even in the room.
Donald Trump is missing in action. He should be on this stage tonight. He owes it to you to defend his record, where they added
Donald Trump should have been all right there, right? Because the debate would have been even more entertaining.
My former running mate, Donald Trump, actually has a plan to start to consolidate power in Washington, D.C. and consolidate power in the executive branch.
Donald, I know you're watching. You can't help yourself.
Fuck you,
I know you're watching. Okay? You're not here tonight because you're afraid of being on the stage and defending your record. You're ducking these things. Let me tell you what's going to happen. You keep doing that, no one up here is going to call you Donald Trump anymore. We're going to call you Donald Duck.
Okay, so as you can see there, some of those landed, some didn't. Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy went after each other once again, just like in the first debate, on Ukraine funding and China. Haley also fended off an attack from fellow South Carolinian Senator Tim Scott.
Every time I hear you, I feel a little bit dumber for what you say.
The reality is just because Putin is Putin's an evil dictator does not mean that Ukraine is good. This is a country that has banned 11 opposition parties. That is not true. We're driving Russia. Excuse me. If you'll have your chance in just a moment. And the throwing personal insults isn't helping.
Nikki offered a 10% gas tax increase in South Carolina. Talk about someone who has never seen a federal dollar she doesn't like.
And information.
And there was a moment in the last 5 minutes of the debate where the moderators asked everyone on stage who on that stage they would eliminate in order to secure a path to beat former President Donald Trump. Every single one of the candidates refused to answer that question directly. Chris Christie chimed in at the end, Trace, clarifying that the person he would give the boot to is former President Trump. Trace?
Yeah, and I thought it was fascinating how Dana Perino kind of pivoted from that, where she said, well, do you have the mathematical way that you think you can continue on to beat the former president? So the strategy was in place there. Grady, thank you. We appreciate that. Let's bring in the chief political anchor and anchor of Special Report, Brett Baer. I mean, I thought it was fascinating, Brett, the debate. You and I were kind of up watching it together, and I thought there were certain things that you thought we went into this, right? We thought somebody had to really set themselves apart. And I'm wondering what your overview of the entire debate was.
Well, first of all, the audience in this environment was different. It was smaller, a little bit more respectful. Maybe it was the shadow of Ronald Reagan underneath Air Force One. I'm not sure. But the candidates were not different. In fact, they may have been more supercharged than they were in our debate in Milwaukee. And Dana and Stewart knew that going in. They were both really good at pulling the reins at that time. At one point, Governor Burgum says, I need to get in here. Can I speak? And Dana says no, and moves on. And I thought that was really good. I think that overall, if I had to say who's the big winner tonight, there wasn't one standout, but I do think that Governor DeSantis kept his position in the middle because he had a couple of good moments and didn't have, faults, any trips.
Yeah, and I think, we kind of go to social media and different sites to see how people feel about this, right? And there was all kinds of different opinions. You talk to 5 different people, you get 5 different responses about who won, who lost, who they think's going to stay and go. I know that you have your 3 favorite moments of the night, and one of them is with Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy. They had this back and forth over China, and then Nikki Haley kind of ended it. And by the way, it was really, you couldn't understand what they were saying for quite a while, and then Nikki Haley ended it with this. Watch.
If you will give us 3,
hit that like button.
If you will give me 3 times the deduction in income tax, then I will look at your gas tax, which is why it didn't happen. Secondly, on the 50% because Obama bought those curtains.
It's in the back?
It's in the back.
It's in the back?
Okay, so that was the curtains comment. That was the very tail end of the debate. Yeah.
So actually, that was one of mine, because at the end of that exchange, where they're going back and forth, you can't really understand what they're saying. Right. South Carolina on South Carolina about a gas tax, and in the middle of that, Governor DeSantis steps in and says, "Listen,
that's how we do, South Carolina,
and I've done a lot in Florida, etc., etc." In other words, he landed the dismount after that argument, and there were a couple of those moments, which is why I say DeSantis had a good night.
And the one we were talking about, where Nikki Haley came in and she went after Vivek Ramaswamy, and it was about China, and what she said at the end was, because Vivek says, "I shut my company down in China," and Vivek said, "Yeah, well, you shut it down after you were president."
Right before you were running for president. So I think that there are, Vivek Ramaswamy changed his tune this time. Last time he said you were all bought and paid for. This time he said you're all wonderful Republicans who might be in my cabinet. So it was a definite turn, and they picked up on that quickly.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Lastly, we talked about Chris Christie, and I don't know if we have this, but let's see if we do. Where Chris Christie went after the former president, he did it a few times, and in this case, he ended his with a joke that
Chris Christie, all the penguin looking ass.
Writing notes. Watch.
And I want to look at the camera right now and tell you, Donald, I know you're watching. You can't help yourself. I know you're watching, okay? And you're not here tonight, not because of polls and not because of your indictments. You're not here tonight because you're afraid of being on the stage and defending your record. You're ducking these things. And let me tell you what's going to happen. You keep doing that, no one up here is going to call you Donald Trump anymore. We're going to call you Donald Duck.
Fuck you, Chris.
Yeah. Listen, the whole pitch and looking at the camera, that was very effective, I think. The dismount with Donald Duck, I'm not sure that hit the mark, but he did that a couple of times. He had a couple of different effective moves. The question is, how does this field winnow? How does it get down to 3 or 4? Because at that point, the debate becomes really interesting to be the alternative against former President Trump, who obviously is up 30, 40, 50 points, depending on the poll you look at.
And I know you got to go, Brett, but it was kind of interesting, and Grady Trimble touched on this, where they were saying, you should write down on the card who you think should be thrown off the island, right? Yeah. And they didn't do that, but in essence, she asked Ron DeSantis, okay, well, what's your mathematical path to victory? And he said, well, listen, it's not the polls, it's the voters who decided we're going to go to the early states. It seems like this field is going to be winnowed as Vivek Ramaswamy is sitting down next to you, Rick. The field is going to be narrowed the next time we do this.
Yeah, and each time, the poll numbers, the stipulations go up, the donor numbers go up, so it gets a little bit tougher, and that will be the challenge. And the other challenge will be, what is the path? Do I have a path or not? So I'm going to let you talk to Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm going to step aside and make room for you.
Thank you, Brett.
Good to see you.
Great to see you. Great work all day, Brett. Thank you
very much. And I will, what's that? Oh, I can't unplug?
Trump,
I'm going to stick
Ramaswamy 2024. That's what I want to
see. Listen, he just can't tear himself away from this. He loves it so much. He's been here for hours and hours. Let's bring in Vivek Ramaswamy, who took quite a few shots from the other candidates on stage. Vivek, it's great to have you on. Thanks for coming over. What did you think of your performance tonight?
I was happy with how we did. And to be honest with you, the first debate I was quite surprised. You were on that stage when many of those candidates came at me. I think that tonight, I'm focused on moving to a different phase of this campaign. I'm not running against any of the people on that stage. There were a lot of very personal attacks. I don't take them personally. And in some ways, I've reflected on this. I am the new guy of this race. And I do have to earn the trust as the new guy of people across this country. I embrace that. And I'm going to surround myself when we lead this country with people who will challenge me, who will question me, who disagree with me. That's how I've built my businesses successfully. That's how I'm going to lead and reunite this country. And so even though they were coming for me, I'm not bothered by that. I'm not running against any of them. I'm running for this country. And our mission isn't just to win this election. It's to reunite this country. And if we're going to reunite this country, We're going to have to reunite this party first, and I'm cut out for the job. Brett and I were talking earlier. We didn't have the soundbite, but Nikki Haley and you had kind of a back and forth. You were talking about China and your business in China that you said you closed down, and she said, yeah, you shut it down before you ran for president. She got a lot of applause for that, and it got a lot of resonance on the internet. What do you think of that? I think it was a false and unfair attack. I mean, the thing I was actually going to retort with, although I didn't want to get into mudslinging, is she's among many governors who have courted Chinese investment into her own state. Yeah. The fact of the matter is, I've done something that very few American CEOs have. I made a clear pledge not to do business in China when I started my second company, Strive, because I learned from the experience of the first. I talked about those experiences in my book, Woke Egg. And the reality is, every other American CEO is beholden to the CCP. There's a reason.
Hell, even South Carolina was the last state that Chinese balloon flew over.
Doing business in China, because I understand that threat. From Reagan's perspective, right? Talking about Ronald Reagan and his position against the Soviet Union. What did he say? We win, they lose. That's my position with respect to the Communist Party of China. That's how I'm going to lead us.
But was it the same company? Was it the same company as Hunter Biden got paid the $5 million?
I think it was ridiculous. I had no idea about what that reference was even to be honest with you. We actually opened a subsidiary in China. There's a wide range of investment that you take from people in China to do business in China. Same thing as every other company from BlackRock to Apple to anybody else who opens JVs in China. But the difference with me is I got the hell out of there. And when I started my next business, I made a day one commitment that no financial institution in this country has made. And I think part of the problem with our politics is China has infested every part of it. If you look at every governor on that stage,
China all up in that motherfucker. President Xi is the commissioner of the National Basketball Association.
So we have
that is 2019.
Every major American
that
CEO has
Daryl Morey said something about those protests in Hong Kong, standing up for Hong Kong.
To be able to
President Xi told the NBA to shut the fuck up.
There's a little bit of pushback. You made a comment on transgender children. I want to play this so they can get your response.
Sure. I have to be very clear about this. Transgenderism, especially in kids, is a mental health disorder.
Facts!
All true. That for what it is. I met two young women early in this campaign.
The rainbow people gonna be bad at that.
The question is, a lot of people saying, you know, maybe that's not the best way to approach this. You can say, listen, parental rights are key here, but saying this is totally a mental health issue among those who are transgender. A lot of people were saying, I wish you'd clarify that a little bit.
Well, let's be very frank about the truth. I mean, the DSM-5, until very recently, has classified gender dysphoria as a mental health condition. There are increased risks of suicide. So think about how these policies together make no sense.
Once they get those surgeries, they have a 40% higher chance of committing suicide.
The Act was recently interpreted by courts to include transgenderism for disabilities benefits, right? So if the courts are saying that people or activists are hailing that as a victory, it's inconsistent when I'm saying it, then to disagree when I say the exact same thing. But I come from a place of compassion. When a kid says that my gender doesn't match my biological sex, yes, that means they're probably going through some other struggle in their life. And we have to have leadership as adults to get to the bottom of what that is that's going on. We have to be able to ask what's going wrong instead of hiding this culture of fear. Just you're transphobic for asking that question.
All of this shit is pedophilia. You damn Democrats.
That's cruelty. And I think that that's one of the things it's going to take to unite this country. I think it's going to take a leader from the next generation to reach the next generation. And I think it's also going to take somebody who speaks truth when it's controversial.
Did you have a different take coming into this debate? It seemed like you were trying to be the nice guy in Reagan's library to say, I appreciate my fellow Republicans. And then last debate, you said, all of you on this stage are bought and paid for. And Senator Scott mentioned that.
The reality is these are good people tainted by a broken system. And I do think the system is badly broken. I mean, super PAC puppetry runs wild to the Republican Party and the Democrat Party.
But you said they could be in your cabinet tonight.
Well, certainly there are people on that stage who are good people tainted by a broken system. I'm going in to fix that broken system. Brett, I think maybe you both know this as well as I do. Every politician dances to the tune of their biggest donor. No exceptions. In my case, my biggest donor is me. And I think that that's what allows me to be independent in speaking that truth. It's a bipartisan problem. I don't blame the individuals. I think many of those candidates have in some ways been exploited by their own super PACs. But I've got to know that they're good people. And so, yes, I want to be challenged. If we want to reunite this country, we're going to have to reunite this party. And my goal on that stage tonight is, in a small way, beginning that project of reuniting this party so we can actually strengthen this. Scud Rights are a little bit of a skirt there because you said they were bought and paid for last time, and now you're willing to put them into your cabinet. Does that say we're going to make sure they're not bought and paid for by the end of this? And I'll be very clear about this. I'll make a commitment if Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley and Tim Scott are able to make the same one. Any super PAC that's supporting me, I'll say give the money back to the mega donors. I won't show up at your events, but I think everybody needs to say the same thing. We can make history. I think we need to be better than the other side. Look at Menendez. Look at Hunter Biden. Look at George Soros funding half the prosecutors in this country. This is wrong, but we have a chance to be better than the other side, but that's going to require leadership. That's what I'm bringing to the table, and I do think it's going to take an outsider, someone who's been a CEO. And I think this is real. Somebody from the next generation to actually lead us to our future rather than just the politics of the past. Vivek, thank you for coming on. We very much appreciate it. Greg Baer, thank you for coming on. Sure. Appreciate both of you. We're going to bring in Tim Scott. We're going to switch these out. I want to play shot number 17, and we're going to bring in the senator from South Carolina. Watch them.
He said we were all bought and paid for. And I thought about that for a little while and said, I can't imagine how you could say that knowing that you were just in business with the Chinese Communist Party and the same people that funded Hunter Biden millions of dollars was a partner of yours as well. It's not nonsense.
So look, here's what I want to respond. These are good people who are tainted by a broken system, and it's not the fault of anybody who's involved. Excuse me. Thank you for speaking while I'm interrupting. While I'm speaking. So we just played the back and forth between you and Vivek Ramaswamy, and we was talking about, bought and paid for, and the whole concept of you were good people on tonight's stage, and then last time you were bought and paid for. What did you think about that? He said, listen, they're bought and paid for. We're going to make sure before they enter my cabinet, some of these people, that all of that is going away.
It's just a tad bit hypocritical. One of the things you have to do is have a good time on the stage, but you also should tell the truth. And what he said last time was wrong. And the more information comes out about his dealings in China, the more concerned we should all be. It's not a surprise then if in fact he wants to turn Taiwan over to China by 2020.
Hit that like button. Hit that like button.
Fact pattern that helps us see why.
Subscribe.
So you started out, and
you got to do everything you can to get Trump as president and Vivek Ramaswamy as vice president. You got to get Joe Biden up out of the White House.
And then it kind of tailed off. You were in the first 30 minutes, you had 3 questions, maybe 3.5. You jumped in there. And then there was a while, Senator, where you weren't called on for a while. You even made a joke like, hey, can you see me over here?
I am really hard to miss on that stage. I'm a big boy with a bald head. And so I cannot understand for the life of me how the moderators, 3 people, could not find my side of the stage. And they skipped me time and time and time again. Some candidates got 3 questions during that time. I have 0.
Yeah, do you feel like, I mean, we talked to some of the moderators and they say, it's one of those things where you're not trying to put anybody out, it's just the flow. It's the way it flowed. 3 questions to you in the first 30 minutes, and then the next 30 minutes you don't get many questions or any questions.
I would just say
it's flow.
I would just say add it up. At the end of the day, add it up. Because what we want is the American people to have a chance to hear what we have to say about the issues that define our future and impact their lives today. We had an opportunity to do that on some of the issues, but to not even get a question on crime or education. I founded the School Choice Caucus 10 years ago. Now, I'm a guy who went to 4 different elementary schools by the 4th grade, having a conversation about the power of education and being completely carved out of that conversation. I'm stunned.
Was it your sense that it might have stopped your momentum a little bit that you built up in the first 35 minutes?
Well, it certainly would be helpful to continue in the conversation as opposed to be carved out of the conversation. I don't think they did it on purpose. Don't get me wrong. I just think they have to be mindful of the importance of looking to their right and not just asking for people on their left.
The question was asked and nobody really participated except maybe Chris Christie to a certain point about who do you vote off the island? Where do you go from here? Where does the Tim Scott campaign go from here? Do you see a mathematical way for you to be
the contender in this party?
Oh, of course, I would not be on the stage, on the debate stage if I did not say that. Here's what we have to do. We have to have an opportunity to tell the American people why this nation can continue to do for them what it's done for me. If we can continue to show up and talk about restoring hope, creating opportunities, and protecting America, which means backing up closing our southern border and standing toe-to-toe with President Xi, realizing it's not the strength of President Xi,
supporting this
damn weakness of President Biden. Getting that done in front of enough voters, I believe the contrast in style and substance.
I got to write about Ukraine.
You and I talked earlier about this, and I'll let you go, Senator, because I know you're busy. We talked earlier about the back and forth with you and Nikki Haley about the curtains, the State Department. And there was a lot of comments on that saying, what was that about? I'm not sure that was effective for either one of those candidates.
Yeah, so one of the challenges that if you're going to talk about spending, when you have an opportunity to be a fiscal hawk, be one. The fact of the matter is, she offered an increase in taxes, $200 million for South Carolinians. Now, that's a problem for someone who stands there and talks about spending issues in a state as small as South Carolina. To increase our gas tax by 10 cents is what she offered. $200 million. That's just the wrong person for our party. I've never increased taxes.
Yeah. Lastly, going forward, what are you looking at? What's your next benchmark? What do you have to hit for Tim Scott and his campaign to go forward? Do you have to do well in Iowa? Do you have to do well at the next debate? Is there something where you say, listen, this is the writing on the wall and I need to follow it?
Yeah, the writing on the wall says, keep doing what you're doing. Keep showing up, keep having a good time, and tell the American people about the greatness of America. We are that city on the hill.
Yeah, Senator, you're a good man. Thank you, sir, for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We're bringing in Doug Burgum now, the governor of North Dakota, and he's limping in because he's still, as we know, he tore his Achilles tendon in the last debate. This debate was different. We've got some sound of the governor talking about crime, and we'll bring him back in.
Popping up recently. My former quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
Military and those support of what we're doing in terms of law enforcement because
I remember in 2016, I woke up with a bad cramp in my Achilles. I thought I tore that shit. I was like, God damn, I'm out for the rest of the season. I don't even play sports right now.
The last time you were at the debate, Governor, I welcomed you and thank you for coming on. The last time you were at the debate, you had clearly the Achilles problem with your leg. You were on a kind of a wheeler, a trike, if you were, that you were kind of keeping your leg around. When we had you in the studio a few weeks back, you felt a little bit better. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. And of course, feel good. Made it deeper into the season than Aaron Rodgers, but good luck to him. And Kevin Durant, 12 months before he came back. We're on track to beat that. And excited to be here tonight.
A lot of comments we had, Governor, about your debate tonight. A lot of energy, and they keep saying, Governor Burgum's got some great energy tonight. He had some really concise answers. He came in, he was thoughtful about a few things, but you know what? He just doesn't stand a chance, so I don't know if I can get behind him. What do you say to those people?
Well, I say this is sort of ridiculous to even say that the whole format tonight that was set up, it's like you got one person on stage, myself, who's created more jobs than the other 6 people on stage. I've been making payroll since my mid-20s, longer than anybody else on the stage. So more private sector, that experience in the tech sector. And then I'm leading an energy state that produces more energy than OPEC. We talk about energy, I don't get an energy question. We talk about the economy, I don't get an economy question. And we talk about the border, and I'm the only one as a sitting governor that's actually got troops down there right now. I've been there more times than Biden. And
like I keep saying, we did invade Mexico.
I was a kid in 1989, and I was in China on the way back from setting up our operations in Australia. I go into a street market in China, and our software is being pirated. $1 a disc, 5.25 inch floppy. When we were selling our software for $5,000, and we talk about China and technology. And they're asking somebody else about TikTok as opposed to talking about the guy who's actually been battling China for 3 decades over IP. So we just want the American public to know that there's a choice up there. You don't have to pick a career politician. You can pick somebody who's done it in the private sector and who's then done it at the state level where we're actually getting the job done. Because you want to talk safe cities, move to North Dakota.
Right.
You want to talk about great education, we got the highest SAT scores, come to North Dakota.
But what is the mathematical way forward? The question was asked during the debate because nobody said we're going to vote somebody off the island. So for Doug Burgum, for the governor of North Dakota, what is
the path forward for you to be able to get into the top 3 or 4 to truly move on and compete against the former president?
Well, the path is quite clear because I'm ahead of 2 of the people on stage in the early state polls. People should be lined up there based on how you're doing where you're actually campaigning.
What state are you focusing on? Is it Iowa?
Well, Iowa and New Hampshire, but take those 2. And if you're focusing on that, we'd be closer to the middle of the stage. Those are the voters that are actually showing up and there. And of course, in those states, the former president, who I've voted for twice, right, is at 42% on a good day. So that means 58% of the people are looking for an alternative. The path is wide open. And the path is available for someone that can talk about the economy, energy, national security. These are the top issues of voters. We've been talking about it, since June 7th when we announced, and then I got other candidates on the stage that, went to Texas, stood in front of an oil rig they've never seen before, announced their energy plans, and everything in their energy plans we're already doing in North Dakota. Yeah. It's what we've been talking about for 3 months. So a debate like this should offer the voters an opportunity to see what their choices are, and I feel that they got cheated a little bit because they didn't get a chance to really understand that there's a great alternative that they're looking for. We've got it right here. So when I'm your president, we'll solve those issues.
Speaking of energy, Governor, I was just talking to a friend of mine off stage who said, Governor Burgum had a lot of energy tonight and in his debate. Stuff I heard that I didn't hear in the first debate. Did you change your strategy? Did you know that you had to come in this and make a move and make something showy so that your name would hit on the internet?
A big change in strategy was I did not play basketball yesterday. I was not standing on one leg the entire time, and I was not in extreme pain, so that would have been a difference. But we had a great debate the first time. We put a lot of lead on the target, delivered our message, and tonight we feel really good about where we were, even though we had to fight to get into discussion. But we're going to keep fighting for the American people.
Yeah, Governor, thank you so much for coming on. We very much appreciate it. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Trace.
And best of luck with the leg.
Thank you.
You're walking a lot better than the last time I saw you.
Yes,
so things are improving.
Yes.
Thank you. We want to bring in, we want to go to Jeff Paul, take a look at the top 3 viral moments of the debate. And with that, Jeff Paul is live in the LA newsroom just down the road, stuff that's kind of setting the internet ablaze. Jeff, good evening.
Yeah, Trey, it's hard to pick just 3, but, there were some really heated moments, many of them surrounding exchanges with Vivek Ramaswamy and all the other candidates standing on the stage. It seems since the first debate where Ramaswamy was taking aim at most of the other Republicans, during this second debate, they fired back.
These are good people who are tainted by a broken system. It's not the fault of anybody.
Some of us are tainted.
Excuse me. Thank you for speaking while I interrupt.
Honestly, every time I hear you, I feel a little bit dumber for what you say.
This is a country that has banned 11 opposition parties.
A win for Russia is a win for China.
We're driving Russia.
Ukraine is just as corrupt as Russia.
You like China.
Other moments that got reaction from the audience involved candidates taking shots at former President Donald Trump. Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis both made a point to call out Trump, linking him to the current state of inflation.
Donald Trump hides behind the walls of his golf clubs and won't show up here to answer questions like all the rest of us are up here to answer. He put $7 trillion
that he should be on this stage tonight. He owes it to you to defend his record where they added $7.8 trillion to the debt. That set the stage for the inflation that we have.
Viewers also commenting on how nearly all the candidates at one point broke the debate rules, whether it was interrupting each other, going over time, or just simply not answering the question. Trace, at one point, moderator Dana Pareto, I don't know if you caught this moment, threatened to cut the mic of the guest you just had on stage, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, if he didn't stop talking. Trace?
Yeah, and we just had the governor on, and I was going to ask him about that, but I forgot. It's a great point. Jeff Paul live for us in L.A. Jeff, thank you. Let's bring in Fox News contributor Steve Hilton and Aaron Perini. Aaron, it's great to see you. So nice to see you, Steve. Thank you for coming on. Of course. I just want to get your overall take on what you thought of the debate, because you talked to the different candidates. We've spoken to Vivek Ramaswamy and to the Governor Doug Burgum and also to the Senator Tim Scott. They all have clearly different takeaways from this. What did you see? What was a big moment for you?
So one big thing I took away from tonight was, although it may be hard to pick a winner, perhaps a winner in different categories, I'll get to that in a second, there was one clear loser for me tonight. That was Mike Pence. I honestly can't understand what he's doing in this race. He seemed like a broken, deflated man. No one is interested in what he has to say. I think he needs to get out very quickly. In terms of the others, I thought that, again, Vivek Ramaswamy, who you had on just now, he had a strong performance on the substance. The arguments he was making, I think, really were the ones that stood out in terms of offering an inspiring, positive vision for the future. Nikki Haley, I thought, did very well in terms of her performance up until the moment that she unleashed that absolutely unnecessary, vicious insult, calling someone else dumb. That's not going to get her very far. So I think she hurt herself with that. Ron DeSantis, I think, had an okay night, but didn't do enough to get his campaign really onto the trajectory he wants.
It's interesting, and the comment that Steve is talking about, of course, is when Vivek Ramaswamy was talking and Nikki Haley came back and said, every time I listen to you, I feel dumber. It's essentially what you said. What were your thoughts of the debate? Which, by the way, the internet, quite frankly, didn't love it. A lot of people responded negatively to that comment. What were your thoughts on the debate?
I think overall there was a very clear winner, and I believe it was Governor Ron DeSantis. You saw a clear, focused message from the governor. Not only is he talking every time he answers a question to the Republican electorate, where you don't see Donald Trump doing that. He's too afraid to show up on a debate stage.
Donald Trump is not afraid. He don't need to be at the debate. Although I want him to be at the debate, but it's for entertainment purposes.
Whether it's about
I'm still voting for
standing
Trump.
up to China, energy independence, the future of this nation, being a veteran and rebuilding the military, the only person who has the experience and has been able to set a vision forward was Ron DeSantis. That's why he was head and shoulders. You kept hearing him saying, guys, stop with the argument. Let's stay focused on what matters to the American people. That's the economy, that's the southern border, that's energy costs, especially here in California, over $6 for a gallon of gas. That is what you saw with Ron DeSantis tonight, and absolutely brilliant.
I walked through the crowd a little bit. I was asking some friends of mine. I was asking some people that I really trust, and I said, "Who do you love?" And we got a lot of Ron DeSantis. We got a lot of Nikki Haley. We got some Vivek Ramaswamy, and we even got some Doug Burgum, as I was telling you, Governor yourself, saying, "Hey, I was very surprised at some of the answers he gave and the energy that he had." I'm going to play some Nikki Haley. She's talking about the border, and we'll get your response, Steve.
Our country's education system is in decline because it's focused on indoctrination, denying parents' rights. Florida represents the revival of American education.
Or we can play Ron DeSantis. Whatever.
I like that one.
This is soundbite number 2, Katie, if you can get this. It's Nikki Haley. It runs 23 seconds. I'm not sure we can find this. If not, just let me know and we'll move on. But Nikki Haley, where she's talking about the border. Play this.
First of all, defund sanctuary cities. You see what's happening in Philadelphia right now. It's gotta stop. We need to make sure we put 25,000 more Border Patrol and ICE agents on the ground and let them do their job. I spent 400 miles down that border, and I'm telling you, Border Patrol agents aren't allowed to do their job. Let's go back to remain in Mexico policy. Instead of catch and release, let's go to catch and deport.
So you go through the candidates, Steve, and they say, Tim Scott, I thought started off really well, then he wasn't asked some questions in the middle of the debate, and Ron DeSantis, as Aaron was saying, did exactly what he needed to do to keep moving forward, to probably remain the #1 candidate right now behind the former president. And then Nikki Haley, a lot of people really like the performance of Nikki Haley and like where she stands.
Well, I agree, and in fact, it's interesting that on questions like the border, some of the economic questions, there wasn't a lot of difference between the candidates. They articulated a very similar position. I do take your point that Ron DeSantis can point to the fact that he's actually done it. And I thought he made a much better job of demonstrating that tonight and conveying that he'd actually done it than he did in the first debate. But on the actual question of who's going to deliver any of this, I think that in the end, it's not just what they say, the policy positions, it's what they convey in terms of leadership. And I do think that on that measure, Nikki Haley started off strongly, but really degenerated, I think. And I think that insult really started the drift away from actually quite a strong performance at the beginning. In the end, she was scrapping with Tim Scott. I felt that she really didn't do herself any favors by the end of the debate. And I think that in the end, you're right, the central three, Vivek Ramaswamy, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, will continue to be the one that everyone's watching. Yeah, I do think Doug Burgum stood out for some fresh perspective there, and some people will take another look at it.
And I wonder, Aaron, I know you're a big Ron DeSantis fan and you think he did very well, but I'm wondering if the former president looks at this and thinks, maybe I should get my toe into one of these debates, or if he looks at this thinking, listen, there was really no big movement in these candidates, and I think I'm better off just sitting on the sidelines.
Well, I think that Governor DeSantis makes this point. He says it on the campaign trail, and he said it at the top of this debate. No one's entitled to this nomination. If you want to be the Republican nominee, you have to show up. You have to defend your record. And
blah, 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 blah. 35 points ahead. So, it's one of those things where it's hard to make a compelling argument when you're saying, listen, he is 35 points ahead. Some polls have him further ahead than that, and it's very difficult to make an argument that you can come out and say, by 38 points, and they say what you need to do. Well, we don't need to do anything because we're 38 points ahead. They need to do something to catch me.
Donald Trump can't help himself. He cannot help himself. If you can
shut up, hater.
Time after time, you need to show up and you need to talk to the people.
He already showed up.
Of course, eventually he's going to show up because it's all about Donald Trump. What you saw on this stage tonight was the future of the Republican Party. People who put service over self. People who want to show up. Who will go to 99 counties in Iowa. Who are in New Hampshire and South Carolina. Who don't do 5 events over 7 weeks like Donald Trump. They do 5 events in one day. That's Ron DeSantis. And Donald Trump may feel high and mighty and feel like he's in a good spot, but he better watch himself because Ron DeSantis is doing the work to win the nomination right now. And when it comes to it, when you've already got 14,000 people committed to caucus for you in Iowa right now, we had 13,000 by August. You're looking at huge numbers, and that's how you win, and that's how you build the momentum going into Super Tuesday and everywhere else. So Donald Trump can enjoy being a sideshow, but if he doesn't want to show up on the debate stage, every Republican should take that as a slap in the face.
I gotta go, but she laid down the gauntlet for the former president, so I get 15 seconds to wrap this up.
I'm more surprised if he's in the next debate, frankly. I wouldn't be surprised. I think that
I hope he do show up, though.
And I think that he
will
be looking at this field, looking at tonight, thinking, I don't actually have anything to worry about from these people. I think he'll be. I don't think that he will be thinking that, and so I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see him on the debate stage very soon.
Steve Hilton, Aaron Perini, thank you both. We appreciate it. Well, the GOP debate is no doubt trending on social media, but the question we keep asking, we keep checking back and forth is, what exactly are people saying? What
Team Trump, that's what I'm saying.
Points hit
Hit that like button.
Marianne Rafferty joins us live with that part of the story.
America first, Mom.
Yeah, hi Trace. Well, throughout the debate, we kept an eye on Google Trends, monitoring what Americans were searching and who they were searching about. Take a look at these trend lines. Search interest in businessman Vivek Ramaswamy took off, as well as former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, while it appears interest in Florida Governor Ron DeSantis dipped, but then picked back up by the end of the debate. When it comes to social media trends, Vivek trended through much of the debate, and while President Trump was absent from the debate, Governor Chris Christie's jab, Donald Duck, well, that also picked up a lot of attention. And when it comes to who appeared to break through, GOP pollster Frank Luntz noted how Senator Tim Scott went on offense, posting, "Tim Scott on the attack, I never thought I would see the day." And also Mary Bono saying Governor Burgum seems to be the most authentic, unscripted contestant on the stage. Hashtag refreshing. But for the voices that really matter, and that's you at home, we put it to you, and here's what you told us. To be perfectly honest, nobody impressed me. In fact, they all disappointed me. And I don't really think this was much of a debate, more like a series of
Ramaswamy for interviews. Trump Ramaswamy 2024.
All I saw were a bunch of children bickering. So, Trace, the informal consensus is that viewers saw more fiery Tim Scott, but overall, they were turned off by a lot of the infighting. Send it back to you now.
Marianne, thank you. Let's bring in criminal defense attorney and federal litigator Vic Bajaj. I watched the debate. I was up on the third level looking down on it, Vic, and I was watching the crowd react. And Brett made a good point earlier saying, it was fascinating because there wasn't 5,000 people, so the crowd wasn't nearly as rowdy tonight. I just want your thoughts. We're going to talk about some of the legalities. I know you're going to put your lawyer hat on for us in a second, but I want to know what you thought overall of the debate and the scene and what you viewed tonight.
Well, I was very impressed in the sense that there was a lot of energy on the stage. To your point, Trace, and very quick to point that out, there weren't hundreds and thousands of people cheering on with megaphones, so it's hard sometimes to keep the energy up. I thought all the candidates did that. That's the good. The bad for me is the way they did it. I just did not think that most of the people appreciate the attacks on the other candidates for the position. I thought the energy was good. I felt there was a bit too much negativity, frankly, but salient points were raised on a global level: wars, crime, etc.
Yeah, it's interesting because there were a couple of big points. They did a lot about China, more than we thought they were going to do. There was a lot of talk about the economy because, of course, it was on Fox Business, and so we expected that. And they did talk a lot about crime and education. And on crime, specifically, Ron DeSantis, this is number 13, Katie. Ron DeSantis on California crime. Watch this.
Just being in Southern California over the last couple of days, my wife and I have met 3 people who have been mugged on the street, and that would have never happened 10 or 20 years ago. In Florida, we back the blue. We support the movement of law enforcement. They are keeping us safe.
Almost like he's warming up for his debate with Gavin Newsom coming up in a couple of months. But really, he makes a very good point, because right now, Southern California, the crime is an issue, Vic, and we see this and we talk about this a lot.
Absolutely. And as a defense litigator throughout the state of the United States, I see where the rubber hits the road, and the amount of mental illness that leads to gratuitous instances of violence is tremendous. Now, what Governor DeSantis did here was so astutely bring it down to a level where everyone can relate to crime. Sometimes it's hard, Trace, to relate to funding Ukraine, whether that's a good idea or bad, or China and business there. That's a debatable issue for small business owners or large business owners. But when you talk about muggings that everyone reads about and knows about, and it is as common as Governor DeSantis says, it really strikes home.
It's interesting because you wonder, when you talk about strikes home, Vic, because you kind of listen to the candidates. We know that for the Biden administration, crime is an issue. People all over the country are looking at the crime stats in some of these blue cities, and they are going up, and people are kind of
Democrat Party, fuck them liberals.
The economy is another issue that the polls are all against him. Chris Christie was talking about his record as a prosecutor in New Jersey, saying that, he set records in New Jersey for prosecuting people. Is it a good tactic? Is that something that resonates with voters when you talk about a debate, thinking, we want somebody who's going to back the blue, and we want somebody who's going to actually put some consequences on the table for those who commit crime?
Well, yes, absolutely. But to a point, I think backing the blue is a fantastic mantra to push out there, and a lot of voters sympathize with that. They understand that. They relate to that, especially in a world now, in a nation now, where defunding the police happened to be soup du jour a couple of years ago.
Everybody wants to defund the police until they need the police.
Yes, that's a good thing. What I don't think a lot of people appreciate, however, is an overzealous prosecutor, either on the federal side, as Governor Christie was, or on the state side. I think many times that bravado and name calling, and I'm going to be the toughest person to lock everyone up, also alienates a significant amount of conservatives who would otherwise be on board with Governor Christie.
Yeah, and Nikki Haley was saying, and she said it a couple of times, is that we have to come out and support law enforcement. We have to, and even in the wake of defund the police, we can't have too much law enforcement. People are starting to refund police. Police departments are trying to get people back, but it's tough.
You gotta have
you look at from Los Angeles to every major city are having troubles hiring police officers, getting people, even with
you'll be no better than a damn Democrat,
because the police officers just don't feel like the politicians in their cities have their backs. And so this is going to be a problem for the next few years, and I think this is an effective campaign strategy for these people to go after.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt, Trace. I think this is what strikes home with most of the undecided voters out there that had an opportunity to listen to this debate. To be a police officer, we've discussed this before, Trace, a number of times. Usually it's a legacy employment position. You have a father, mother, aunt, uncle, grandfather who was a law enforcement, and that's a great thing for you to do because they did it well. But nowadays, with the pay that officers get and all the negative ramifications from internal affairs investigations to actually being put on social media and your career and reputation completely eliminated vigorously, why would the juice ever be worth the squeeze when you're getting paid a third of what you could on really essentially a part-time technology job?
Listen, I just want to say it's the first time I've ever heard Vic Bajaj use the juice squeeze metaphor, but I think it works. Vic, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Well, meantime, the highlights, right? There are highlights in every debate, and there are also some lowlights. I want to bring in the senior national correspondent, Kevin Cork, with some of tonight's, maybe epic fails is too strong, Kevin Cork, but there were some definite things that fell flat.
You're right about that. Good evening, my friend. Listen, sometimes the highlights and the lowlights are more or less the same thing. As you know,
sometimes the lowlights are
better. Presidential
that makes for better
debate, but on occasion, the lows are so striking, Trace, that they can really impose a real drag on a candidate moving forward. Tonight, notable highs and lows arguably were few and far between, but a few moments garnered attention, to be sure, like this one, of course, we've talked about tonight. Chris Christie talking about the man dominating the GOP polls, former President Trump.
Donald, I know you're watching. You can't help yourself. I know you're watching, okay? And you're not here tonight, not because of polls and not because of your indictments.
You don't need to be, although I wanted to.
You're afraid of being on the stage and defending your record. You're ducking these things. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Doing that, no one up here is going to call you Donald Trump anymore. We're calling you Donald Duck.
Okay, not sure how that landed.
It didn't land.
Mike Pence did his best to lighten the mood, Trace, with a well-crafted quip about unions. As for how it landed, well, you be the judge.
You mentioned the president's situation. My wife isn't a member of the teachers union, but I got to admit, I've been sleeping with a teacher for 38 years, and full disclosure.
One thing about Pence, he does have a good policy to keep from getting Me Too. He will not interview a woman without his wife around.
Joining the firing line.
So I do agree with his traitorous ass with that. To keep from getting Me Too.
This is infuriating because TikTok is one of the most dangerous social media apps that we could have. And what you've got, I honestly, every time I hear you, I feel a little bit dumber for what you say.
Oh, wow, there was that. Now, after the debate, you probably saw this if you saw
already see who I'm
Hannity's
voting for.
coverage. Vivek told him...
MAGA over here, ultra MAGA.
He added that he's not running against those on stage. He's running for the highest office in the land. Still,
Ramaswamy
some did land punches. Others not so much, Trace. Yeah, I mean, we keep talking about this, Kevin, and you know, the politicians, they have sometimes they're great speakers, and the comedians will always tell you, comedy is all about timing, and the timing of the politicians seem to be a little bit off tonight with their jokes. They practice them, and sometimes they just tend to fall flat. Yeah, I think thank you as always. The whole venue affected that probably. All right, man. Yeah, I think you're right. Meantime, let's bring in...
All right. Y'all go like and subscribe. I'm about to get up off here. Y'all be easy. And remember, vote for Trump. Good night.